What's up, believers? Welcome to Make Us Believe, a wrestling podcast, if I can talk, for fans, by fans. I am one of your hosts, Michael.
And I'm John.
And we continue to be on the road to WrestleMania. We are almost there, guys. This weekend, this coming weekend, at least for us at the time of this recording, will be the showcase of the Immortals. John, are you excited?
Oh, I'm excited. That's a loaded question. There's parts that excite me. There are parts that excite me, but overall, not really. I mean, I think it's pretty much official. What I've been guaranteeing is gone. Jericho seems to be officially out with his appearance on AEW. That stings. He must have got paid too, because the fans didn't care about him, over a year ago or whenever he was last there. So, like they probably turned on him like 3 years ago, and that's his first appearance in about a year. So, they were in his hometown of Winnipeg, and the crowd wasn't even that hyped. So that's a bummer. Um, yeah,
Wait,
I
they weren't
mean,
even hyped for him to be in
they
Winnipeg?
so they were cheering, but it wasn't like the pop you'd think he'd get. Not the pop he would have, like, not a fifth, like not even 5% of what he would have gotten in WWE. They were like, they were excited, but mildly excited, I'd say.
That's lame. That's
Yeah,
lame.
it's
Yeah, I'm out of AEW like altogether right
I'm
now, so I don't
mostly
even
out.
know.
I saw clips.
Uh,
Like honestly, I didn't even watch the episode, but I watched the clip of him returning.
that sucks.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah,
That has to hurt, knowing that you're like a bona fide legend in the industry and you can't even get like a sympathy pop from your hometown.
he
Like,
is a legend, and that's why I wanted him back so badly. That's why I was sure he was
yeah,
coming back at the Rumble. That's why I was sure he was coming back at Mania, because it made sense. So that's why I think he probably got paid. Tony paid him, and I'm not even saying I talk a lot of shit about Tony. I don't even think that was necessarily a bad move, because even if he's not going to be super over in AEW, it's better than, I guess, letting him be super over in WWE, who's been burying you. So I kind of get it, but it sucks for us fans, you know?
yeah. I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
goes with the whole like Dean Ambrose thing, right? Like he turned down a shit ton of money to go over to AEW, um, just because he was tired of how creative was handling him,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can stick with the status quo and make a boatload of money, but your character's gonna be, relegated to garbage storylines, or
Yeah.
you can take a massive pay cut, but get dominion over your own character. And I mean, these are all
Yeah.
guys that are like super creative, right? So that does
No,
appeal.
and and I've said this before, I'm sure, but I like, you see this with a lot of people. Not that he's in AEW, but they let Killer Cross go. Aleister Black is doing the exact same gimmick. Um,
Hmm.
and then like everything else going on with WWE. No, I'm not that excited. I think Rio and Io are so corny together. Um, I'm just gonna gripe a minute. I like, every good or potentially good rivalry is being bogged down by either celebrities or ghosts of Christmas past. Like, I don't really need EO coming out to like aid Rhea or like defend Rhea. Like, Rhea is a big girl. Rhea's a main event, woman. So I just think they're kind of corny together at this point. The little Yachty thing is annoying as all hell. I don't know who he
Yeah.
is. My son does, but I don't know who he is. But my gosh, like, he's just like yelling in an annoying voice. Um, I was talking, in previous episodes about how hard I thought Trick's intro to Mania was going to go, and I think that's officially ruined if Yachty's going to be coming out with him. The celebrity
Yeah.
items for Mania are a little too much. McAfee had a pretty good promo on the last episode. Like, I don't want to take that away from him, because I don't really like him being there. But him and Cody had a pretty good standoff. So, like, I guess I'll give that, a little bit of light, but overall, I'm not happy about it. Um, like, this is supposed to be the best show of the year, right? Reward your true fans. Don't cater to the casuals or pander to someone else who's on the outside trying to get them to tune in. Like, that's what's annoying me. Like, this is what Mania has become now. Um, and like I said, kind of same thing with McAfee. They teased who Randy was talking to for weeks just to be Pat McAfee. Like it couldn't be Ric
Yeah.
Flair, it couldn't be DiBiase Jr.
Couldn't be
It could
Batista.
have been
Like you couldn't.
Batista. Yeah, you could have brought in anybody back from Evolution, honestly. Like, or even somebody on
Yeah.
the side. Like, I don't know. McAfee was a weird one for me, just because of how they were teasing it. Um, yeah, basically they
Almost would have
sold.
made more sense if Randy just wasn't talking to anybody on the phone and it just showed off that he was just having like a schizophrenic break or something.
Yeah, he
Like
has
that
voices
would
in
have
his head.
made
It's in
more
his theme
sense.
song.
Yeah.
I agree.
That would have literally made more sense than Pat McAfee. Like,
Yeah, and I know that this is the reality of the business now, but it's just they sold out what's supposed to be the biggest and the best show of the year to make it the biggest clown show, and I hate it. I hate it. The
I'm here
Danhausen
with you,
stuff
man.
shouldn't be the Danhausen stuff shouldn't be the most entertaining thing that's going on right
Oh
now.
my God.
And
Okay.
somehow it is
Oh,
the
we're
best
gonna
thing that's
talk about
going
that.
on. Which yeah, I don't know how it really fits into Mania, but that's kind of the thing that's entertaining me the most right now. Yeah, talk about it. Like I I didn't expect that to be it, and I don't think it's a good thing that that's it. But I'm digging the Danhausen stuff.
Yeah, you know what though? If they're gonna give us garbage, if I'm able to find a $20 bill in that garbage, I'm gonna keep that motherfucker. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
so here's my thing is we should have seen the writing on the wall, considering that they were kind of pandering towards this of like, hey, look at all the celebrities that are in the crowd before signing
Yeah,
on with, or before the TKO sale and everything. And we should have known it was only going to get worse after the TKO sale, because that's literally what they do every single UFC and
hmm
boxing event or whatever, right? Is let's see the celebrities in the thing. Let's focus on whoever's in the crowds and stuff. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit who the
not at all.
celebrity is. It's like, okay, cool. They're watching wrestling. I don't care. It doesn't validate me as a wrestling fan that I'm watching a product that a celebrity watches. I could give two shits
And
who's in the
honestly,
crowd watching. Like, I don't care. I just want to watch the wrestlers. If they also want to be there and want to partake in the product, then by all means, that's fantastic. And I'm glad that the product is good enough and it's reaching that quote unquote upper echelon
sure.
of celebrities or whatever. But I don't feel like they need to get called out for 10 minutes an episode every time, or like on Mania, they're going to cut to like 4 minute dumps or whatever, or what seems to be like 4 minutes, but realistically, it's going to be like 2 minutes of them showing who's in the crowd at WrestleMania, but they're going to do it like 5 times each
Oh
night
yeah,
because that's what they
for
did
sure.
last year.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, we're literally going to get all in all, probably about 20 minutes solid WrestleMania TV time that is dedicated just to pointing cameras at celebrities in the crowd. And I'm like, why? What fucking why?
I'm with you. I don't care at all. I could live with it if they stayed in the crowd, but man, like I don't need them being active in the stories. Like that's what I'm saying. Like and Jelly Roll's the worst of it. Like my gosh, this guy's getting more TV time than a lot of the wrestlers, and I don't understand
Yeah,
why. I don't find any entertainment value in this guy at all. Now I'll be honest. With full disclosure, I'm not even a fan of his music. It's just not my taste. If it's for you, awesome. I'm not here to yuck your yums, but man, it's just not translating into wrestling at all. I'm
yeah.
annoyed by it. You want to show him in the
You don't
crowd,
have to
cool.
like his Yeah, you don't have to like his music or dislike his music to still appreciate, or what's
Yeah,
going on and stuff. And I get that. If you like his music, cool, you're a Jelly Roll fan. That's great. I mean, if you're a little Yachty fan, that's great. If you're a
yeah,
Pat McAfee fan, great. That's your prerogative. And you know what? Hey man, that's your taste. No, I'm not here to shit on you for that.
mhm.
But I do have a problem when they invade my,
Happy space.
what I'm watching and what my yum is. Now they're
Yeah,
yucking my yum, and for the
exactly.
sake of pushing storylines that either A should be able to stand up, well, no, not A, just should be able to stand up on their own because they're for WrestleMania season. Like, do
It,
you
it
need Jelly Roll to be
no,
emphasizing a feud between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes for the
no,
main event of for one of the main events of WrestleMania? Like, do you really need that to emphasize how important that is? Do you
you
need
shouldn't.
Lil Yachty in Trick Williams's corner to emphasize how important his WrestleMania moment is against Sami Zayn? Like, creative
Yeah.
is doing a shit job if that's where they need to rely on.
And listen, I actually, I'm a big sports fan. I watch Pat McAfee's show on occasion. I'm not a religious viewer, but I watch it sometimes and I enjoy it. I think he's an overrated commentator, and I don't need him on WWE to insert himself into a storyline that's kind of been teased for years now. Like, we knew it wasn't if, but when this was going to happen. This story writes
Yeah,
itself. You don't need celebrities to be, in this storyline. Like, it rates itself. And here's where, like, I think just from what I see on social media, where I might have a little bit of a disconnect with some of the fans, I don't really put this firmly on Triple H. At least I don't want to believe that this is Triple H. I do think that this is
we go.
TKO. I think if you replace Triple H with any booker, they're still going to have to answer to TKO. And I think that this is TKO saying, "Well, we own this bitch now. Like, this is what we want to do. You're going to do it." And
I
no,
yeah,
nobody could really say anything about that.
I think honestly, if and this is again, I'm in the same boat. I want to believe this, but I mean, realistically, if you had any other booker in the at the helm, that wasn't Triple H, I feel like it would be worse. Like, I feel like
I
you would
agree.
have
I
somebody
agree.
who would not have the legacy and the
Mhm.
reputation to and not only that, but the balls to push back against your parent company and say, no, that's too far. And I feel like Triple H is the kind of guy who would and could get away with that. Whereas, someone else would just fold. So I'm,
Yeah.
like I imagine it could be worse. I absolutely hate where it's at. And honestly, uh after watching SmackDown this past week, I was like really thinking to myself of like, well, how far is too far? Like, when is it enough for me to say, you know what, this is too much. It's now overpriced. It's over commercialized. It's just not fun anymore. And when do I just stop watching?
Yeah,
Which I
I
never
I
thought
am.
was going to be a thing. I never thought would be a thing. But realistically, the changes that TKO has been making and the kind of direction that they're going in with the WWE, it doesn't feel like WWE anymore. And not the, oh, well, it's not the Attitude Era and everything like that. No, it's not that. It's just literally, it doesn't feel like the same product anymore. Not even the same
What?
company, but just not the same product anymore. And it's just getting to the point where it's kind of not enjoyable.
No, I understand that. I think what TKO fails to realize with wrestling is that less is almost certainly more. You don't have to throw all this extra stuff at us. We're loyal
Yeah.
fans. We're gonna watch. They have a good following. You don't have to, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, bringing in these celebrities, making this a over the top spectacle, a 2 day thing, like, it's really not necessary. And granted, they were doing 2 days well before TKO, but
Yeah.
my sentiment's been since they went to 2 days is that, make it a 4 hour show and just stack it. And if it's not good enough to fit into those 4 hours, then that's not good enough to be on WrestleMania. Like, this is supposed to
Yeah.
be the best show of the year, and it's just become the most commercialized show of the year. And I don't care for it. Like, it's not my favorite show of the year because it's just been really kind of catered to casuals and people who might potentially watch instead of their loyal
Yeah.
fans, which it should be.
Yeah, and I'm not even super mad at the casuals because, like, hey, shout out if you're just getting into wrestling or you're just coming back to wrestling or you just are a casual viewer, welcome. We love to have you. Um,
Agreed. Agreed.
our particular flavor of IWC, our little staked out corner here in the internet wrestling community, is a welcoming one, and we love to have you. But
Absolutely,
that being,
absolutely. I just don't want it
but
catered to them. I want it
yeah,
catered to loyal fans, and then that product should suck you in organically. It shouldn't be
yeah,
catered to
exactly.
casual fans or non-fan or
Or
potential fans.
or the ultra rich or the influencers or whatever
Yes.
they're trying to go for. Like
Yeah.
it should be for everybody. And the fact that it's not is insulting and like really a slap in the face. It's not even just a little insulting, it's a straight up slap in the face to those of us who have been watching for literal decades.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's arguably bigger than it's ever been. And you get you give us this. And I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. I know I'm not paid to be happy, and that's
Yep.
fine. But I mean, I've been a literal lifelong fan. I've been watching wrestling for over 40 years, and I'm not happy.
Yeah, I
And I
agree
think it's
with
one
you.
of the reasons why AEW is doing so well, honestly, is because they
It's an
are an
alternative.
alternative.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
not a bigger budget, they're not anything like that. And even if they're trying to go with the grungy early WCW feel of the, Attitude Era vibe kind of thing, then cool. You don't even need to revisit that. You just need to be something different than WWE, I feel, to get eyeballs now because WWE is making, or rather, well, WWE slash TKO is making such bad decision making or such bad decisions that it's forcing people to just kind of like, hey, what's over there? And that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, I I agree with you, man. Like it's just it's weird times. Like I said, I understand partially. I understand. I just don't agree. Like you have this major corporation that owns UFC now and owns WWE now. Unfortunately, there's going to be some changes that come with that. It's just I don't think that this is going to be profitable for them. And now that you even have, you know, and don't get me wrong, like I do think that this was at least partially manufactured. Like this is like a work shoot, but Punk acknowledging it, I thought was great. How
Yeah.
the ticket prices are too high and cut the ticket prices. Like I said, I don't think he went out there and said that rogue. I just don't think that that's where Punk is in his career anymore, especially since he's come back to WWE. He's been a good soldier. But like I said, I think it's a work shoot, but I mean it does hit it on the head. You're doing all this stuff that's not necessary. He called out Pat McAfee and he called out the ticket prices and um yeah, I mean in that moment, like I said, whether it was kayfabe or not, he was a voice for the voiceless because that's how we all feel. So it was nice to hear it acknowledged. That was I will say that was probably the highlight of the last couple weeks for me was the newest punk pipe bomb where he kind of went off. When I watched it, I had to rewatch it actually. The first time I watched it, I was like, I think he's going a little too heavy right now for the situation. Then the second time I watched it, I was like, you know what? Like this is all shit that needed to be said. Like this is how the loyal fans, the longtime fans are feeling right now, and it's good to hear this acknowledged on live WWE TV.
So, all right. So in the mortal words of One Trick Willie, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the points that I wanted to bring up. Kind of mixing in with what you said about the guests and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, why? First off, I agree. I think this is a work shoot, but I think it's also cheap of the company, the parent company, to
Mhm.
be working in their criticisms from the general public about ticket prices and streaming choices and things like that in the name of money.
Mhm.
They're getting called out for it, and rather than addressing that, they just decide to point CM Punk and Cody Rhodes at the problem and say talk about that and make it a thing, like make it a storyline angle. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Why not just change the fucking prices? If you're not happy with it, change the prices.
But the problem
You
is
know?
it's too late now. At this
Yeah.
point, even if you made these tickets for free, you still got to pay a ton to get a flight to Vegas, book a hotel room. Like at this point, you're not you're probably not going to sell these tickets to people who are outside of Vegas, which is most people. If you haven't already booked your stuff, especially now, like last minute airline tickets, you know how it is. Like last minute airline tickets are expensive. So This
Yeah.
isn't gonna,
All right. So
this is a failure. Yeah, like I said, and they're
you,
acknowledging it,
yeah.
kind of like to your point, they're acknowledging it, so that's good. But like, WrestleMania is going to come around next year, and nothing will be different. They're going to do the same thing because this is just the way it is now.
So, but that's another point of mine, right? Dude, I'm bouncing all over the place on my notes. Like you guys would be so proud of us. We actually took notes in preparation for this meeting or for this show, and in true fashion, John and I are just kind of like spitting off the handle of like what's starting, and we're just eviscerating the notes. Like we're just
Yeah.
bouncing all over the page. Um, but okay, so Pat. First off, why do we need Pat? Like you said, why the fuck do we need Pat McAfee?
We
Like
don't.
he's not any kind of full-time wrestler. He's not a legend in the WWE. Like sure he was a great punter in the NFL and has a very
Mhm.
successful podcast show and everything, but he's not a legend in the ring.
No.
Um why do we care? Why the hell do we care that Pat McAfee is getting up there and talking anything? Like talking about the Attitude Era or about how TKO or whatever. Like how one, why do we give a shit about Pat McAfee's opinion? And two, why do we care that he's in Randy Orton's corner? How is that suddenly something that lifts Randy up? Like you could put Akira Tozawa in Cody Rhodes's corner, and on paper, that makes more sense and is more threatening than having Pat McAfee and Randy Orton's
Yeah,
because he's a
I mean,
full-time
you're right.
wrestler.
Exactly, exactly. He actually can wrestle. I mean,
Yeah,
even if WWE's kind of made him a joke character, like the dude actually is a trained and talented wrestler. So yeah, I'm with
I
you.
will give credit where credit's due. Pat has done some cool shit in the ring, and
Yeah, his Gunther stuff
two
really wasn't bad.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, to Lil Yachty's credit, he took that Helluva Kick bump like a
Yeah,
champ.
he did. He did.
That was impressive. I was like, okay, you're here. That's fine. I see you. Like, but one bump does not a wrestler make, like kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right, right.
So
I'm glad you were good for one, but yeah, it's not enough to
yeah.
justify this.
So if we're going through and where like Pat McAfee's talking this trash, like he's gonna save the business, and he's bringing it back to the Attitude Era, which I loved Cody going in there and just ripping his ass apart.
Oh yeah,
It like,
he said what we were talking about last episode.
yeah,
Like you guys weren't even around
it
for
was
the
so
Attitude Era.
good.
It
Yeah.
was good.
It was like you weren't here. Randy wasn't even here. Like Cody
Yeah.
mentioned, Randy was watching the Attitude Era in high school like the rest of us. Like
Yep.
it it like he wasn't there. Like you're not saving the business. You're not bringing The Rock back. You're not bringing Stone Cold back, you're not reuniting DX here.
Right.
You're pushing a promo to an angle for one match in WrestleMania, and you're not even doing it exceptionally well because your mic skills aren't super great. Like it
Yep.
doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't
It didn't
resonate in
hit.
that way that they want it to.
Totally agree. Couldn't agree more.
So yeah, Cody just so there's my point to that aspect. The other side to that is we had CM Punk come out here and counter it on his end. Like you mentioned, we had Cody come out and counter it on his end. What's even the point of having them talk shit about TKO though? Which goes back to my previous thing of like, why are they like? I get it from a thing we're trying to like, probably calm down the negative press by steering into it a little bit and kind of poking fun at ourselves by having the wrestlers do the promos, that are insulting the
Mhm.
parent company. But ultimately, why? Like, how does that help the parent company? How does that help storylines a little bit, other than just dousing some cheap heat onto that issue in hopes that it'll move along and go away? I guess.
Yeah, it's like
which
they're trying to create a little controversy, to stir up some dialogue, and it's almost like a last ditch effort, like a Hail Mary.
yeah, it's dumb in my opinion. It's
It
stupid.
is no, it
Because I'm
is
like,
dumb.
why are you insulting your parent company? Like when CM Punk dropped a pipe bomb, like dropped the pipe bomb, right?
Yeah.
And he was insulting WWE as a
Mhm.
whole, it was groundbreaking.
It
And
was.
like people had done it before, like Bret Hart, as far back as Bret Hart, when he turned heel, he was talking shit about the WWE and stuff. It's always been well, the man's holding me down. I'm going to rebel against it and talk shit. Like that's a story as old as time kind of thing.
Yeah, the
Uh,
anti-establishment character. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. CM Punk, Stone Cold took it to another level. CM Punk took it to another level with the pipe bomb. But why are we trying to revisit it now in this watered down version when literally everybody can just look at your ticket prices and be like, well, yeah, I'm not going to spend $20,000 on an all-inclusive package that
Yeah.
includes airfare and hotel or whatever, and my own folding chair with somebody's face that I get to sit on
Plus, they just
or
did that
whatever.
last year, dude. They just did it last year.
Yeah, I just I don't it doesn't make sense. And it's like, cool, if you have these like astronomical packages, nobody outside of the super rich are going to be able to buy those. So
Yeah,
you're
you're
right
pricing
there
out your
pricing out
audience.
your audience. But then you go for the ESPN Unlimited deal where now we have to spend 30 additional dollars a month if you don't get it through your cable provider. You know, you have to spend more money to get it. Which, fun fact, guys, if it's not included in your cable and you don't want to go and try and use a VPN or whatever to do it, just sign up with a fake email. Just create a fake account, do a fake email, and then, do a trial version just for a week, whatever, so you can watch WrestleMania and dump it. And then just keep doing that every month. Fuck the man.
Hey, the more you know. There you go.
The more you know. I was like, I'm not even teasing around it anymore. Like, just do that because
Yeah.
screw them and their freaking money hungry bullshit. Like, yeah, CM Punk, everybody else out there cutting promos. I'm cutting truth. That's what that is.
Yeah. Pipe bomb from
Uh,
Michael here.
boom. So but it's just the prices keep going up and up and up and up, and I'm like, yeah, you're making money, great, but you're only making it from a certain percentage of the fan base, and you're alienating literally the rest of us.
I mean, let's call it what it
And
is. They're taking advantage of us.
yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're like, yeah, that is what it is. They're trying to make as much money as they can and trying to take advantage of us while they do it.
Yeah, and
And
that's why
that's
it's
one of those
frustrating.
reasons of like, when is enough enough? Like, when does Michael decide I can't do this anymore? Kind of thing. Which for 40 years, that has never been my take on stuff. Like, you remember, like we were active duty out in the middle of the Gulf, and we were still like I was getting my wife to send care packages of former like past pay-per-views on DVD and having her
Yeah.
send those to the ship so we could watch them, 3-4 months later and still stay caught up on what was
Yep.
happening in
Yep.
the
We
industry. Like,
we
you
made our
remember this.
we made our own little wrestling thing in the engine room. I totally
Yeah,
remember.
we
Yeah.
did. We
We were getting
absolutely
our
did.
fix.
Yeah, so like it's not like we haven't, like, I legitimately for years have tried to stay up on this company and stuck with it and everything. It was never a point at which I was like, this is so bad that I'm really just trying to rethink whether or not I even want to watch this at all. And fast forward to today, and those are the thoughts I'm having. I'm like, I can actually envision a future in which the product is so bad and they've taken so much advantage of me that I just say no and stop watching, which, would be the end of this podcast. So that would suck. But
Yeah,
hey,
see,
not happening today. It's not happening today, guys. Don't worry.
I'm
But, it's out there.
yeah. I understand the sentiment of that completely. I'm not there yet, but I'm also, and you can call me like, an abused spouse almost, but like I'm holding out hope that we're gonna get some some shockers at Mania. I don't know what they would be at this point, but I'm hoping something's just like, oh no way, or whoa, like I wasn't expecting that, or this person just came, or I didn't expect that twist. I'm gonna need something like that to save the show at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if they have it in them. Honestly, like that's my problem is I don't know if they have that in them to make all of this worth it. Because this
No,
is a
I
very, very big speed bump. And not just
yeah.
for WrestleMania, but just in general. This is a very big speed bump, and not everybody has the vehicle capable of going over it safely.
Yep. No, and listen, guys, if you're listening, I understand we've been a little bit downers the last month or so about everything that's been going on, but this is just two longtime fans who have watched this product through peaks and valleys, and we're just not happy with what we're seeing right now. And I think that you have a right to be. If you're loving this,
Yeah,
good for you. But we kind of long for something, that excited us like the older days did. And I'm not saying that they can't. It's just if you're watching this road to WrestleMania, there's nothing that's jumping out or showing us any glimpses of this being something that we have to tune into. So in a perfect world, and I'm not even saying that I would bet anything that this is going to happen, is that they understand that the build hasn't been spectacular. They're bringing in these celebrities just to kind of draw your attention to it, to get you to watch the show, and then they have something special planned at the show. That's what I'm hoping for. Do I really think that's going to happen? I don't have any reason to actually think that's going to happen, but that's what I'm hoping happens.
dude, no, you're on this. Like you're hitting the nail on the head with this. Um, like I mentioned, we have Pat McAfee out there spewing promos saying that they want to save the industry by bringing back the Attitude Era stuff. And that's in theory sounds great, right? You're talking about arguably the best time in pro wrestling's history. Like, sorry for people that love the Federation years and the Golden Era and everything like that, but yeah, the Attitude Era is up there for contention. If nothing else, it's up there. It's one of the best eras in contention.
Yeah, and you could look back
So
at it and be like, "Oh, it's not that great." But if you watch the Attitude Era during the Attitude Era, you'd never seen anything like that. You couldn't get
that
enough of
shit
it.
was fire. Like
Yeah,
seriously, we cannot describe to you what it was like watching that live.
yeah.
Like
At
that
that
had not
time, that
been
was
there was
nuts.
nothing like it. There was literally nothing that had ever been done like it. It was crazy. Um, but back to that, like it's short-sighted as far as creative goes because it's like you're going to bring back you're going to turn back the clock 30 years to this one specific time frame, but that is also that's short-sighted because you're eliminating any chance for evolution in the industry. That's saying that everything that has happened since the Attitude Era, for better or for worse, is garbage and needs to go away. And there's a lot of ways that the industry it's like has built up since the Attitude Era.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
well, women's wrestling alone, like, has taken on this entirely different beast, and that didn't happen in the Attitude Era. In the Attitude Era, if you weren't privy to this time and you don't have a way to go back and watch it, women's wrestling consisted of bra and panty matches. Like that's what you had as
Yep.
far as women's wrestling. And like it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. But trying to turn back the clock eliminates the elimination of the four horsewomen, of the give divas a chance revolution, like all of it. Like we wouldn't have Rhea and Io and Charlotte and Alexa and the goat Bailey and everything. We wouldn't
Hmm.
have them if we just turned back the clock to the quote unquote good old days. Like it's very short-sighted to not be thinking about that when it comes to, just going in for the cheap pop kind of vibe that I feel like they're presenting with Pat McAfee's promo styles or his promo content right now. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it like I said, it's a cheap ass way to just attack your company for the negative press that they're getting as far as ticket prices by
Mhm.
having him literally show up in a Ram truck and then announcing that Ram has agreed to eat
Yeah.
25% of the ticket costs for night one of WrestleMania. Like his entire promo on SmackDown was him basically coming out being a poster boy for Dodge and saying
Yeah.
that 25% off of WrestleMania tickets, but only for night one.
Yeah,
And
the night Orton fights, which honestly, like,
right?
I kind of do like that part of it because he's like, we don't care about night two. We only care about the part Randy's on. I kind of did like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, and him trying to take credit for it too, which he had nothing to do with it. That was between
Yeah, of course.
Dodge and TKO. But like I said, I did like the promo. But if I had a choice between keeping the promo and scrapping Pat altogether, it's hands down scrap Pat altogether. But I will say, kind of
Yeah.
like how Lil Yachty took the haluva kick. I thought that was um, a silver lining of what I think a bad situation is. It was a pretty good promo. I heard somebody talking about how they tried to put in that promo, and I don't know if this was a joke, but it didn't sound like a joke. They said they put in the promo code that Pat gave, and it actually increased the price instead of took it down. Which, if that's
That's
true, that's the most
amazing.
hilarious thing ever.
Yeah, that would be so good. I would love that to be a fact and just have it. I haven't checked it, but
I haven't
um,
either, nor will I, because I just don't care that
no.
much. But
Yeah. Um, I, I just like if it's 25% off $1,000 seat, that's
yeah,
still not going to be affordable to the average person. You know, like
no, no,
your 25% off is not I it's just not viable for your average person. It doesn't fix anything for the average fan. Yeah,
yeah,
sure, you negotiated a discount, but you negotiated a discount for one night for the one main event, which is, in my opinion, the weaker of the two.
I
And
agree.
you're you're making it like still unaffordable. Like just lower the fucking prices. If it's that you don't want the bad publicity, you know how you get good publicity out of it? Do a 180. Be like, yeah, you know what? We messed up. Here you go. New price structure. With this is what we're going to be going forward. You know, like do that
Yeah,
and then
but
instantly get all and good, PR out there at the drop of a hat. Instead, you have Pat McAfee saying that he talked to Dodge and is now getting you 25% off of the one night that nobody cares about. Also, on top of that, by doing that, they have inadvertently or intentionally, I don't know, but they made it so night one, quote unquote, main event is not the main event of WrestleMania. We now know that the main event of WrestleMania is the main event of WrestleMania 2, which we already knew, right?
mhm,
Because if you know, you know. But there's one main event and it's happening on night two. And this absolutely confirmed it because you don't
yep.
get a discount on that one. You get a discount on the other one, but you don't get a discount on that one.
And
So,
how, and not for nothing, but how pissed off would you be if you were one of the people early to buy these tickets and you paid full
oh,
price and your reward is, hey, anybody else who wants to go, we'll give you a big discount. I'd be like, well, what the fuck about
I'd
me?
be
Like
so mad.
yeah,
I'm like,
I'd be
are you going to
extremely
give me
mad.
are you going to give me a refund? Are you going to give me like store credit for the largest like fan store or whatever that's there, whatever crap that they keep, the big buy our t-shirts crap? Like, are you going to give me some store credit for that so I can at least come out of this with a couple of t-shirts or
Yeah,
something?
I'm
Like,
gonna guess they're getting no compensation. Like
yeah,
you
you
know
get
they're
a
losing money. They're not trying to lose any more money, but yeah, I would be demanding some form of compensation.
okay.
That sucks.
So here's my question then. This actually does lead into my other point. If we're done burying Pat McAfee and
Yeah,
TKO for
yeah.
their dumbass
I
pricing.
think we hit it pretty good.
Yeah. So, creative, if you're listening, I know that you don't have a lot to do, or not a lot you can do to turn this shit sandwich into something edible. But, you know, keep trying, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. TKO, if you're listening, y'all suck and you can eat a
Yeah,
bag of dicks. So
I agree.
there's
I
that.
agree.
Uh, so here's my question. Here's my
Okay.
question then. For the first time in history that I can recall, our WrestleMania ticket sales so fucking bad. Like the interest in WrestleMania is so low right now that they have to resort to sacrificing huge surprise pops to instead attempt to draw hype to the show.
I'm hoping they don't do that for anything major. You did see them announce that the Demon Finn Balor would in fact be um, at Mania,
So
which
mad.
I'm
So
really
mad
bummed
about.
about that. Yeah, like just let us be surprised. Like
Let us be
I
surprised.
yeah, like
That pop would have
seriously,
been huge. He comes out,
absolutely.
his music is still the same, so you don't, it's not even like, oh no, he came out to the Demons music. He's been coming out to that music. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with that, man. I
No,
just,
no, no. That's it. I mean that's like so. I'm hoping they don't do too much more of that. That was a bummer for me. I was annoyed when I saw that announced on social media, and it's like, come on, just let us be surprised. Like this is what we need. So I'm hoping they don't do anything more of that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, like usually when they start panicking, that's what they do.
yeah. And it's like, hey, look, here's the hype. Here's the hype. Come in, come buy tickets. Here, hey, look, we're even giving you a discount. Come see, come see. And I'm like, you're dropping the price of ticket. And this is, again, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Again, sorry, guys. I literally have 3 pages of notes, and
Mhm.
I'm really excited because we haven't been able to uh, sit down and talk about wrestling for like 2 weeks. Because John and I don't like to sit down and just talk about wrestling
Yeah,
because
we save it
we have
for
nothing
the
left for the episodes.
right.
So this is both our therapy and also like super shitty for us because this is all we want to do. Like, is we want to be able to just talk wrestling to each other, but we want to be able to save it for you guys to enjoy while we're
Yeah,
doing it. So it's rough sometimes. Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
the fact that like they they teased the demon in that vignette that he did was bad enough. And I'm like, okay, what he said, I knew we were getting the demon, but then they show the eye CGI effect. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay, you're confirming it. Then they just flat out spoil it.
Yeah, I think that
And
was
I'm like,
enough. You're right. Like the tease was pretty obvious, but I could still
yeah,
play along. I could be like, okay, okay, I see where we're going with this, but
uh-huh.
it'll still be cool when I see it. And then you show me the graphic, and it's like, okay, well, there's nothing left to be surprised about. Like we're like a couple weeks away at this point. Not now, but when they
Yeah,
announced it. And so it's
yeah,
like, all right, well, I already have a couple weeks to emotionally acknowledge this. So when he comes out, I'll be like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. Cool that he's here, but man, it'd be so much nicer just again to be surprised by it.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, that that junction, right? Of like how much is too much. Like with that teaser, if they didn't do the teaser with the eyes at the end of that vignette, just what he said would have been enough for me. Kind of in my mind, I call it the sign test, right? Is the promo that was given enough to hint to you making a sign if you were going to that live event, right? Now I
Yeah,
have a sign
yeah.
that says demon, Finn Balor demon or whatever. And
Hmm.
now when that actually happens, I feel super validated and everything because now I made a sign and I guessed correctly. And I'm like, I'm on top of the world, right? Because not only is my dream
Yeah,
coming true, but I prepped for this. I chose correctly, I chose the right grail and everything. Um, but so that's my test internally is what I think is like, hey, would this make for a good moment for the fan? And as soon as they did the eye thing on the vignette, I was like, no, they ruined it. Then they full on announce it, and I'm like, well, you just really screwed the pooch on that one then, because there's why he's gonna get a pop, but it's not the pop.
exactly, exactly.
So
The pop with a surprise is very different than hooray, we're happy to see you pop.
yeah. And when John, when was the last time that you can remember a week or less than a week away from WrestleMania that you can remember tickets still being available?
I don't
And
ever remember that.
on top of that, where what was it? 8 days. Yeah, it would have been 8 days before Mania because that would have been on Friday. So, when was the last time you can remember 8 days out from Mania that they were scrounging to fill seats so bad that they offered a 25% discount on the tickets 8 days out?
Never, never.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, if that's any indication of either your build up to this show has been absolute garbage and
Hmm.
nobody cares enough to show up, to spend the money and show up, or B, your ticket sales are so expensive that nobody can show up. And now you have to scramble about a week out to put butts in the seats.
Yeah, and you're
And
right. Both of those are totally true. And that's kind of where I go back to
yeah,
less is more. You know, you give us a good product and fair prices. That doesn't mean they have to be cheap, but fair prices, and you're gonna print money. It's gonna sell.
yeah,
Because you're doing it for the fans. That's the people who are gonna want to go. If I'm not really a fan of this product, even if I have way more money than I do now, I'm not going to be interested in spending that much money on a product I don't really know or I'm familiar with because fucking Jelly Roll's there. What do I care? I'll go see him in
yeah.
concert.
Yeah, if I wanted to see Jelly Roll or Lil Yachty, I would just pay to see them,
And I bet you could
and
get
I
tickets
would
for
pay
both
to
of their
see
concerts for
them.
way cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, you could get tickets to both of their concerts for less than you could for a ticket to WrestleMania. Like
Yeah.
I'm
So
almost
so just focus on the
guaranteeing that.
fans. You're right. I'm positive. Yeah, so just focus on the fans. Focus on the people who want to watch the wrestling and you'll sell the tickets. Don't give us this, dog and pony show.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna ask this quick question then. Um, what do you think? Which show is doing a better job of keeping you interested in the product right now? Is it a SmackDown or Raw?
You know what? That's a good question. That's tough for me. I might go Raw by a little bit, and that's just because, you got the better main event with Punk and Roman. Um, they're like I said, it's close because I have pretty much the same grapes with both shows. Yeah, I mean, you also have. It seems like you got kind of have more celebrities there too, but I don't know. It's tough. Like they've both been tough watches the last month. So yeah, for me, it's hard to say. I'd say Raw by a hair. What about you?
Hmm, tend to agree. It seems like Raw has the better roster overall. Not that
Hmm.
that matters because they cross back and forth so much now that the branding just kind of doesn't make sense, which is fine because it's
Hmm.
back to kind of that vibe of how it was when SmackDown first happened, right? You had Raw
Yeah,
and then SmackDown was just a continuation where you could get more storyline buildup or just add
yeah,
in more storylines into the mix. So I dig that. Don't get me wrong. I super dig that. Um, but I will say that I do feel like Raw has a more stacked roster and tends to have the better storylines, or at least the ones that are more captivating to me. I also think that they have less commercials, so there's that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, I would say Raw by a but same as like what you said, but like by a hair. It's not by much, but I
yeah,
will say that I will say it's probably Raw.
yeah.
I
I
just
mean, the
like
grapes I
there's
have for one are the grapes I have for another. But yeah, I agree. I think it does kind of come down to roster.
yeah. I don't understand some of the choices, I guess. Like um was Solo with the MFTs and is in the same realm as the Wyatt Six, right? It's just kind of like I sit
Yeah,
back and I ask myself why.
yeah, yeah. Like this
Um
is still going on. Like how long has this feud been going on? And
and
why?
and
Because nobody's cared about this feud at all.
and it's doing the same thing. It's like, okay, cool. Now Tama Tonga is like breaking away from Solo a little bit.
Right.
The same way kind of that Jacob broke away from Solo a little bit.
Hmm.
So it's like, how many times do we have to put Solo in a Timu version of the Bloodline and then have it fall apart before you stop putting Solo in Timu versions of the Bloodline?
I am kind of curious if we're going to see, and this isn't a hard prediction. I'd say it's a soft prediction. I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a bloodline reunion in some way at WrestleMania, because I think that I don't know where you'd go with it long term is the problem. Because you already had like I thought the bloodline was a great faction. Um, I'm pretty sure when we did our top factions, I had them on my top five.
Yeah,
I don't know what else you could really do with it long term, but it would probably be exciting and neat and a kind of a big twist if you did some sort of reuniting or Bloodline 2.0 that kind of came together and screwed over Punk and put Roman over at WrestleMania. It would on the other hand sort of I guess it would kind of give reinforcement to the claims that Roman can't do anything on it by himself, which, as one of your
yeah,
powerhouse wrestlers, you don't really want that to be his image. But also Roman, in his best days with this company, has been a heel, and that is a very heelish thing to do. So I don't think I'd hate seeing that. I think that'd be cool. It's just like I said, I don't really know where you go with that long term to sort of reunite the bloodlines.
yeah. I think they'll do maybe something close to that for the cheap pop, but the short-sightedness will. They're going to suffer from that short-sightedness. I think that where they're going to do it for that moment, but
Hmm.
then not have any regard for the repercussions of that.
I
Where
think if you
like you
do it that way,
said,
right? Go ahead. Sorry.
no, yeah, it's just where when you said where does it go from there
Yeah.
is you don't have a long-term plan for a bloodline again. If you're just going to rebuild it, it's almost like rebuilding like the reboot of the NWO, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
trying to do all the same shit all over again. It's just not going to feel the same. Two, it absolutely is going to give credence to what you said and what CM Punk has said, and what I've gone on record as saying my number one major issue was with Roman's first, or with Roman's title run with the bloodline and everything, was that you are marketing Roman as an absolute Greek god of a man who is
Yeah.
unstoppable, but who needs everybody and anybody to to intercede on his behalf to help him win a match. And those two cannot be the same at the same time. Like they can't, they are mutually exclusive. So you can't have on one hand telling me that Roman is the most dominant champion of all time, and then on the second hand have him have Paul Heyman literally trying to get him out of handcuffs so he doesn't lose the what's it called, the last man standing match against Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't have both. To me, you just can't. So it's either Roman is dominant and deserves the ones to the sky as the OTC, or you have Roman with the backing of the bloodline and have them keeping their guy on top. But you can't have both. You can't have both narratives be true at the same time. So that was my number one issue with Roman's run the last time, was that from that aspect, the creative narrative didn't work for me. So I was like, I don't like this run, not because Roman's a heel or any of that other stuff. He played heel perfectly, and the bloodline was amazing. That whole
Yeah.
story was great. The
Agreed.
execution of that with Roman always needing somebody to help him win, and then you know he wins on Sunday because somebody's because Jey Uso cheated on his behalf. And then on Monday, he's touting his, he's on day 800, blah, blah, of whatever, of holding the championship, and nobody's going to take it from him. It's,
It absolutely undermines
it
his
didn't work.
power. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's like, cool. Roman is weak. All that did is tell me that Roman is weak and needs help. It didn't show me that Roman's dominant. It showed me Roman's weak. If
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be the same thing that happens if the bloodline does go in there. Sure, you screw over CM Punk, whatever, but now you've just made Roman Reigns look weak again.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah. It's not a great look, to say the least.
Okay. So I'm not a fan of obviously, like, I like Solo. I think Solo can do great things. They need to figure out what the fuck to do with him, because having him keep trying to do these de facto factions is not working out. It's
No,
boring.
he's
It
getting
doesn't go
lost in the
anywhere. Like,
sauce, especially with the
exactly.
Wyatts. Like,
So
if you're doing a program with the Wyatts, especially this long, you've got lost. You got lost in the sauce.
yeah. So, and I mean, like, it sucks because it's like we've talked about this before, right? With the vision, with evolution, the marks of a great faction are ones that lift everybody up, right? Like,
Yeah,
evolution was a fantastic example of how to take every person in that faction and boost them, to the next level.
a
I
hundred
feel like
percent.
the vision was doing a good job with it too. Like, here you have Seth Rollins at the time putting, Bronson Reed and um
Braun Strowman. Or no, not Braun
Braun,
Strowman. Braun.
not Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker
Braun Breaker.
in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Too
I had
many
a hiccup in
Brauns.
my throat.
Too many
Too
Brauns.
many bronze, so many. But taking them and putting them front and center and giving them time in the spotlight, which did elevate them up.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
This MFT faction stuff has done none of that. Like, I don't care. I
No.
don't care about whatever was it, Talatonga, the big guy.
Yeah.
I don't care about him. I don't care about
No. He
JC.
does nothing.
I Yeah, and like Tama, I'm on board with Tama now. Like, Tama Tonga's shown me some stuff in the ring, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't on you before, but I'm here now. Like, like let's do this kind of thing. But the other three members of the faction, I could give two shits about. Like, and that's not on them. That's on creative not giving them an opportunity to shine. They're literally just these background henchmen for Solo.
That's
And
a great way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, and it sucks. And they're, when this faction inevitably crumbles, they're going to suffer because of it. Like, they're gone, having to focus on themselves, and they have this weight of being stuck behind Solo Shadow on them.
And it sucks too because like I actually like Jeff Cobb when he was, kind of he's done things in Ring of Honor, New Japan. You've heard me wax lyrical about Lucha Underground. Like he's done good things in all of those. He really is useless in WWE. I love the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa when they were in New Japan. Yeah, like you said, they're all just henchmen now. And then yeah, Tala Tonga, yeah, he's a big guy. Like that's a very Vince reason to put a guy on a show. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
really do or offer anything else.
But and I get that it's impressive, but did it work for Amos
No,
or
not at all.
whatever it was? Like, was
Yeah,
running around with AJ for a while.
yeah.
Did it work for Big Cass? Did it
Nope.
work for Kali? Like, like, you've taken guys who have been 7 feet tall before, and
Who just can't get over.
they just can't get over. And it's like, I get it. But again, not everybody's going to be Kane. Not everybody's going to be the Big Show. Not everybody's going to be Undertaker, where you get these huge guys that are close to 7 feet tall or just over 7 feet tall and able to work.
Right.
Like, that's not always going to be the case. Bigger isn't always better, you know?
Yeah,
So it just sucks. It just sucks that we're still looking at that model, and instead of actually seeing the longevity of this character and what this person can do in the ring, it's like, okay, well, it's almost like they took him as like, well, you fit with this faction and this family and stuff like that. We're gonna put you here. Just go. It's short-sighted to me.
It's very short-sighted, and yeah, like I said, that's kind of why I was thinking like, are they gonna do something with the reuniting of the bloodline? Because the MFTs isn't working. It's not doing
No.
anything good. You kind of see the Usos kind of going back with Roman. No clear sign if that's a permanent or a temporary thing. It's something that I feel like if it's done right, it could work. But like I said, I don't really know how long it could work. But and it's just confusing times. It's confusing times about everything. And like I think I mentioned it before, but even like the Carmelo Sammy thing, like the crowd's turning on Sammy to the point where he's gonna have to go heel, which I'm not mad about. But Sammy's not wrong. Like, why are people mad at him? Like he answered an open challenge and won, gave the guy a
Yeah.
rematch and won. Sammy really didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, now he's kind of faced in a position where he's supposed to be the face going in against Trick, who's super over right now. And I'm afraid that they're gonna have to maybe flop him or do something immediately after Mania with Sammy because Sammy can't keep being a face at this point. And don't get me wrong, it was getting very stale, and they kind of were teasing him going heel, but I don't think this is what they had in mind. I don't think they had in mind the
Mm-mm.
crowd turning on him right now. Like I think this might be a little premature on what they were trying to plan out for this.
It gets me because it's like you get to see like the duality of the fan, right? Because
Yeah.
they're booing Sammy for literally the exact reason that they're cheering Randy Orton for. Randy
Yeah.
Orton won
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber by taking advantage of interference and winning the match to get to where he's at.
And to that
So
note,
did Sami Zayn.
he told Sammy backstage like maybe 3 weeks ago or a month ago, you got to be a little selfish. You got to do what you got
Yeah,
to do to get ahead. And Sammy does that in a non-heelish way, and now he's being treated like a heel, and the crowd is super into Orton. And
yeah.
as far as Orton's concerned, I'm guilty of that too. I'm really into this heel Orton too, but Orton's a great heel. Um, so I mean, I don't know. It's just weird times.
So all right. So speaking of Sammy, let's go on that because I do have some bullet notes on this.
Okay.
Quick question: how long do you think Trick will hold the title?
Yeah, so we're already giving it
Yeah,
to
I
Trick,
don't.
which I
This
which I
isn't even like a prediction for me. This is just
mm,
a foregone fact. Like
yeah,
Trick's coming
yeah.
out of this with the United States title. Just
I
how long is he gonna have it?
yeah, so let's talk about grown folks talking. I
Yeah,
agree Trick is gonna win it. For everything we just said. The crowd's turning on Sammy. Trick is super over. He's gonna get the strap. It wouldn't make sense if he didn't. Um as
Sammy
far as
doesn't
how long
belong in this tier anyway. Let's be honest here. Sammy belongs in the main event. This is not this we've said this before. This is not the strap that we wanted Sammy to have around his waist,
No,
right?
how I would book Sammy now is, yeah, I would absolutely have him lose to Trick. He's pissed. He just lost at Mania. The crowd's turned on him. He has no reason to be face at this point. And then you start building up a proper heel Sammy. And then, you could maybe have him do a couple feuds in between actually going for the strap because it'll be fresh after Mania. Depending on, who wins, you got to kind of see how that goes. But I do think if you again, you got to do it right, but I do think, maybe you have him have a couple feuds, and then you have him start going for that, one of the main event titles. And I think it's time. I've said it before. I think the clock's kind of ticking on when you could do this for Sammy. Everybody wants it to happen, but the longer you wait, the less people are going to be really into it. Like you don't want to do this too late or way later than you were supposed to, which at this point it already is later than you should have done it. But I think you could
Yeah.
still salvage something with it,
No, I
even
agree
if it's as a
100%.
heel.
Yeah. 100%. Sammy deserves it. Heel, face, doesn't matter.
Hundred
Sammy
percent.
deserves the world title.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so okay. With him So going the assumption we both are having this prediction, going on that assumption that Sammy's going to drop the belt. And I've brought this up before, right? Like I think on the last episode actually, where we were talking about why even have Sammy have the belt going in? Why not just have it go to Carmelo, like keep it on Carmelo, so then Carmelo could have a WrestleMania moment with Trick while Trick still goes over with the belt, right? Like we talked about that.
Yeah.
Do you think that having Sammy in that match is one, it gives just like a bigger boost to Trick and just kind of gives it that little bit more of a shine of like legitimacy because
Yes.
it's Sami
Yes.
Zayn versus Carmelo?
For sure. You absolutely are going to get a rub because Sami Zayn, I don't even think this is arguable. I think Sami Zayn has done enough to where he's a future Hall of Famer. So you're going to go to WrestleMania against a future Hall of Famer and win the United States Championship. Yeah, that's absolutely a huge rub for Trick. Like that's gonna level him up for sure.
Yeah, versus the
Um,
guy who's held it for, what, a month and a half, 2 months
mhm,
or so. Like
absolutely.
I don't know, it
Yeah,
might have been like three. It was less than three though, right? Like Carmelo hasn't had it for more than like 3 months.
and that's we've talked about this before too, but for me, that's the problem with the Open Challenge is that, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of title matches, and I'll even say like it probably elevated Carmelo a little bit, but not that much. It certainly didn't elevate anybody around him because you can't build a feud with an Open Challenge. So yeah, going into
Right.
WrestleMania, him beating Carmelo, I don't think. I mean, it still would have leveled him up a little bit because you're still winning a title at Mania. That's never a bad thing. But yeah, like you could like Carmelo more, and I don't have a problem with that. But to say that Carmelo has more clout in this business than Sami Zayn is ignorant, in my opinion. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
this is gonna be a much bigger deal for him to beat Sammy there. I think there's only one way he doesn't beat Sammy, and I don't want to see it happen this way as much as I want to see part of it happen. I'm afraid that they're going to do something that should be used different. So I'll just say it. I think the only way Sammy retains is if KO comes back, and that would be one of those shocker moments. I don't want to see it happen like that. I want KO to come back. I want him to do something, and I'd love him even to come back at Mania, or maybe even the night after Mania. But
Yeah.
I
Like on
I
that
think
Raw.
the only I think the only way Sammy returns if you have KO come down, do something shitty, but then you'd have to turn Trick face. And I know he's super over right now, but his heel character is so good, and I don't think they should mess with that right now. I think that keeping Trick heel is important. You can turn Sammy heel afterward and have him just move on. You don't have to have him like revisit Trick. You could just have him super disgruntled and pissed and heel without the U.S. title and have him go elsewhere with it. But I love heel Trick Williams right now. Like
Same.
he's
Same,
yeah,
brother.
he's my favorite up and comer that I've seen in a while. And we've talked about it before. I really like Obafemi, but I'm much more into Trick Williams just because of the character that Trick Williams has. Like it's very Rock like to me. And I don't even mean it as a
Yeah.
rip off of The Rock, but it's the same aura, like he's a bad
Yeah.
guy. He's got the swag. Um he's
He has that same
he's
vibe.
cool.
Just
Yeah, he's
yeah.
cool, like and I
Well, I
love
mean, but
everything about it.
The Rock was basically like a tuned up version of Razor Ramon, if you really look at it, who I'm sure was a tuned up version of, somebody else from back
Sure.
in the day that was
Sure.
working out,
Yeah. No, and that's actually a really good point. Yeah, like this isn't a unique thing, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like just that vibe. So I want to keep that rolling. I love that. Now, like I said, The Rock was a face with this, he was a face for a long time where he was still this extremely egotistical asshole-ish character, but he kind of played into it, and the crowd fed into it, and it worked with him being a face too. You could probably do something like that with Trick. What concerns me is Trick is still pretty green, so I don't want to put him in a position to fail. So I would like to see him be a heel for longer if possible. I'm not saying like he's
Yeah.
going to fail if they don't do it like that. I don't know. Like I said, because he's green, I don't know if he would sink or swim, but I'm not sure I'd want to take the risk of him sinking because I think that that dude's got money written all over him.
Well, I mean, like he's been there for like, I mean, they pointed it out. He feels like he's been there for years, but he's been there for like 6 months,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like on the main roster.
I'd say tops.
Totally,
Yeah,
yeah, like totally revamping his character and making him a face right now
yeah.
was like, what would even be the point of that? Because like he's been there for like 6 months, like why does he need a total overhaul at that so little time?
The
So
WWE
I,
is
I I
is
agree with you.
terrible at this. They do this all the
Oh, I
time. Like,
know.
oh, this heel's getting cheers. Let's turn him face. But nobody's interested in the face version of him. They love him as the heel, and I understand. You want your heels to be hated, but in this era, I think heels can be enjoyed. Like, just because the masses are enjoying a heel doesn't mean you have to make him a good guy. They like him
Yeah,
because he's a bad guy. Let him keep doing that.
they did it with Drew.
Yeah,
Drew was getting
absolutely,
cheers, and it's like cool. We
absolutely.
loved heel Drew as the champion. Like
Yep.
Randy Orton's getting cheers, and maybe that's the reason they brought back Pat McAfee was to try and drum up some booze regarding this or whatever. But everybody loves Randy right now.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is what it is. Just vibe with it, man. Like
I
let it
agree.
be a thing.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah, so do you think then this is a quote unquote Jey Uso situation for Sammy, where he gets the secondary title for like a month and then literally just loses it at the next opportunity, but then becomes next in line for a world title. Because I mean that was very reminiscent of what happened with Jay and the IC title.
Yeah, I think that would be the right way to go. Obviously, it's structured a little bit differently, but I think that that idea is the right idea. Jay was obviously a face. He lost to Gunther, which is just a powerhouse. Like he's kind of built up to be a very difficult person to lose, and his record, you know, indicates that. Where with Trick isn't necessarily a powerhouse wrestler, but he's a guy who, he feels like he could beat or lose to anybody on any given night. Um, but yeah, like just as far as, just winning the title, losing at the next opportunity, and going for the main title, it certainly seems like Sammy could be slotted for that. And I, like I said, I think that that would be the way to go. That would get my vote.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I don't see the purpose of him holding the title other than to lose it at Mania to give Trick the rub. Um, that's the only reason I see as Sammy holding the title. And I think you're right. Like you hit the nail on the head. It's gonna do more coming from Sammy than it would for Carmelo. As much
Yeah,
as it sucks for Carmelo and him not getting that spot at Mania, he's too good not to get his spot later. So I
yeah,
do fully believe he's going to have his moment in the sun. Um, I just think that realistically, if the storyline is to focus on Trick and set Trick up as the new United States champion and have him have like a legitimate, decent run with it, that this was the right way to go. As much as it pains me to kind of say, and contrary to what my previous statements were, it does make sense from kind of that booking aspect. Uh,
Well, look too.
so
Like, look at the buzz around the U.S. title now, as opposed to a few weeks ago when Carmelo had it. There's
yeah,
way more buzz. Like, there wasn't really any buzz before that. It was
yeah,
just like,
and
oh,
it's
there
not
might
because
be
of
an
Lil
open
Yachty.
challenge match. No, it's not. So yeah, like just the buzz itself kind of speaks to the different level that Sammy's on compared to Carmelo.
Yeah, my last little bullet point here. was actually regarding to something you brought up a little earlier was it literally says, "Do we need the open challenge?" Question mark. John called it. Uh, just referring back to the U.S. Open Challenge and how you've mentioned previously, uh, it feels like it's a cool concept, but do we need it still kind of going forward? Because it does. It eliminates the ability, not even the need, but it eliminates the ability to have a legitimate storyline built into it.
Yeah,
Um,
and I stand by that. Like it was one thing when Cena did it because at that point Cena was already like the biggest star in all of wrestling, hands down. Like, so it didn't
yeah,
necessarily like the open challenge for Cena was Cena's way of giving back. But if you're a true
yeah,
mid Carter, which is typically who holds that title, then you kind of need some storylines to not just build up your opponent, but to build you up too, because you're still a mid Carter yourself. If you don't have a good
yeah,
storyline going, nobody's going to care about this match. When Cena was doing it, people were going to care regardless because it's John Cena, But
yeah.
unless you're John Cena or another one of these main event people, you really got to have a story to generate some interest for this. So no, I think overall, the open challenge concept is a horrible idea for a mid card title.
I, I, the other thing I put to that is, it sucks because it's become the trope now, where
I
every
know, I know.
babyface champion does the open challenge, and
Yep.
every heel champion steps away from the open challenge into what we would, as normal, like what we would normally consider a standard run. Where
Yeah.
storylines are built up and it's not defended every week and stuff like that. So it sucks that that's the dynamic where it's like, oh yeah, if you're a babyface and you won the US title, you have to do an open challenge because that's what's expected. But if you're a heel, you just kind of let the title be the title and you build storylines and make people care about the matches. It's bizarre and I don't like it. I don't like that we've gotten ourselves, like, we painted ourselves into that corner. Um
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully it
It,
backs off, but I don't see it because this, at least with the US title, that's been, since Cena did it, that's kind of been the expectation.
yeah, I hate it. I would love if they got away from that. I feel like they should have enough data by now to see like, okay, well, nobody cares about this open challenge or this US title when we're doing it since Cena did it. And like I said, I wonder why. You have Cena do anything. And like I said, whether you like Cena or don't like Cena, it's going to generate interest because it's Cena. It's the biggest star in wrestling, today, or
Yeah.
especially at that time. So, yeah, to me, like this is just common sense stuff that WWE should see and understand. So, yeah, no, I don't understand why we're still doing the open challenge thing. Like I said, it made sense for Cena. It doesn't make sense for anybody else. I'll even say, I'll even give an inch. It like even Sammy could kind of get away with it because Sammy has at least he's never been a world champion, but he's at least been in the main event picture. He's at least had major storylines in this company. So Sammy is somebody who could generate some interest, even if you do consider him an upper mid Carter, which I think on paper he pretty much is, at least right now. But
Yeah.
but like I said, even that, like I'm still pushing it. Like at best, you could say it kind of worked with Sammy, but to me, it didn't. It still didn't. It worked a lot better with Sammy than with Carmelo because again, Carmelo hasn't done much on the main roster. Like that was the biggest thing he did, and if you haven't done anything before that, why do I care about your open challenge? Like it's I don't know. And same thing with Ilya. Like I think Ilya is really talented. I didn't care about a single open challenge, and in fact, besides him and Carmelo, I couldn't even really tell you a memorable open challenge that they had because I don't care about
No.
that.
And it was so bad. Like this concept and everything was so bad, with such a shallow pool of people that they were letting in, was
Yep.
like they had to run that back like four times. Like
Yeah.
they had to literally run that open challenge match back like four separate times, and
Yeah.
freaking without actually developing a storyline in there. Like, why? What
That's
was
what
the
I'm saying.
point of
This
that?
isn't this isn't the UFC. And this is a mistake AEW makes a lot too, which is why I think a lot of people started becoming disinterested in it, is that it's professional wrestling. You could have the best matchup I've seen in the ring, but I need a story to be invested in this match. You need to give that to me first. So yeah, if you don't have that for this US title, why do I even care? Not even just who wins the match. Why do I even care who the champion is? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
No,
I'll die on that
100%.
soapbox.
No, that and I you know what? That's fair. That's fair. It, it it's an interesting concept, but it's not an everyday concept, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
Like you mentioned, it worked for Cena because we already looked at Cena as one of the greatest of all times by
yeah,
that point. So it wasn't you're getting in the title picture or you're going into a title match or anything. It had nothing to do with the US title necessarily. It had to do with you getting in the ring with one of the greatest of all time and
like when
seeing if you could hold your own.
yeah when Cena held the US title and did that open challenge, he was already at the very least 14-time world champion. He probably
Yeah.
was a 15, maybe even a six. Like he was between 14 and 16 world titles. Of course, it's going to be interesting. Of course, the dude's already had one of like you could argue the greatest WWE career of all time. Of course, it's going to be interesting. Of course, you're going to want to see what's going on with that because if Cena's involved, you're always just one step away from something crazy or interesting developing, because he's one of the main stars. Carmelo, nothing's going to happen that's going to be that interesting if you're doing an open challenge. Nothing. Like literally there's nothing memorable from that title run in my opinion. Nothing.
Yeah. And for reference, I know that we don't need to put it out there like this, but since Attitude Era stuff came up from the past and everything, and creative, if you're listening to this, maybe you should, check your numbers or whatever. Um, John Cena, who we're talking about as going in there and being a legitimate force for the US title, doing that at his 14 time at that point, probably about, I don't know, I haven't fact checked that. But yeah,
At
like
least 14.
it
At
was
least
at,
14.
yeah, by that point. Um, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who many would put on Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
I would.
Um, yeah, 6 time world
Yep.
like WWF champion, like
Yep.
six total in his career, six.
Yeah.
So, and I know title number of titles isn't always like the best indicator or anything like that, but
No, but it's one of their
literally,
major measuring sticks. And
yeah,
Hogan is also
exactly,
a six-time WWE champion. Ric Flair
yeah,
is a two-time WWF champion. Like, so yeah,
yeah,
like to hold the WWE/F title 14 times at least when you hold the US title is insane. Like I said, I I'm not going to keep going, but I probably will. But I always point out that Ric Flair is a 21-time world champion. But the fact is, as far as WWF or WWE, that brand, yeah, Cena's held it way more than anybody else has. Well, I mean, besides like
yeah,
Orton and Triple H, but besides that, like a lot of their greats haven't held it more than 6 times. Like it's a
yeah.
crazy thing to do.
It is. It really is. And on top of like Cena had like memorable times that he held that belt, like memorable reigns and record-breaking reigns while holding that. It's not like what we talked about before last episode with Randy Orton. Like, sure, he's chasing number 15, but like his average was like 3 months or something, or 2 or 3
Yeah,
months with the title. It wasn't no reign that Randy Orton did was particularly memorable.
right.
That was not the case for John Cena, kind of thing. So it's
No, John Cena was the main character of the ruthless aggression era, which lasted a long
mhm,
time. Like that
yeah,
was his era. Literally his that whole era, he was the main character.
yeah. Um, yeah, we could beat this horse till it's, till it's like fully underground if we wanted to. But not that we
Yep.
advocate animal abuse or anything, guys. Don't come at us, okay? It's a figure of speech. But realistically, like this just isn't gonna land right. I feel like, or just giving him the belt was kind of a weird choice. Um, the open challenge is stupid. I feel.
Yep.
If you don't have somebody that can back it up, just don't do it.
Yep. I hope it dies
I
at
think it's
Mania. And again, for all of you people who are like, these guys are being real curmudgeons all of a sudden. Well, Mania is gonna, for better or worse, Mania is gonna be done this weekend, and we'll be able to move on to other things, other topics. But right now, like, because this is the biggest show of the year, we gotta talk about it. And if we're happy, you'll know about it. If we're not happy, you'll know about it. But this will be the last. Well, I shouldn't say it'll be the last. At worst, it'll be the second to last Bitch Fest episode we have about WrestleMania.
Yeah. So okay. So here's my point. Like, to build on that point,
Mm.
for everybody out there saying that, one, totally understand, 100% get that, and sorry that you have to go through this.
I'm not sorry. We have to
but
go through this. We have to go through this
we,
too. But sorry, continue.
but any other month, any other PLE, any other situation in WWE, the focus is on the storyline, and that storyline concludes at the PLE, right? You build the storyline and you build the shows around the storyline. WrestleMania is the only PLE of the year where the entire everything is built around the show rather than the show being built around the storylines. So
yeah,
you don't look at it as like, oh yeah, it's WrestleMania, we're going to get the conclusions to these storylines. It's literally, these storylines were created for WrestleMania. Like, it's not organic. Nothing about this feels organic, and that's kind of the vibe you get every WrestleMania season. So
yeah,
starting with the
lately
Royal
for sure.
yeah, starting with the Royal Rumble, going into, this week, like, that's what we've gotten, is been building every match to WrestleMania, not adding WrestleMania matches on the card as storylines make sense, kind of thing. They could try and disguise it as much as they want to make it look and feel more organic, but that's what it ends up feeling like. And that's what the bitching about this is like, hey, if you're going to design an entire show and hijack your entire company and all of their storylines to focus on building out one show and do that for 3 months, then you should have a pretty fucking rock solid show.
Yeah.
And they don't. So
No.
like that's our gripe with it, is, like, this is what it is right now. Now, after this, Backlash goes through, and literally we're gonna start going off of storylines built out from WrestleMania and going forward, like that's what we're going to expect for the rest of the year. And that's going to be fantastic. And we can get and focus on those storylines and what makes sense and what doesn't. But right now, with the company building storylines to fit in WrestleMania and not the other way around, then our focal by de facto has to be WrestleMania. And I'm sorry, they have not done a great job. They have not done a good job. One can argue they haven't done a job of creating any kind of interest or like real reasons for us to tune in on the biggest show of the year. So yeah, sorry you had to listen to us bitch for 3 months, but if you don't like it, contact your local WWE creative representative and bitch to them about it, because we're just reacting to what we're given.
And we got 2 words for you. Do the math. That's 3 words.
Yep.
But you know what I'm saying. You know what the 2 words are. Never mind. I botched it. Whatever.
No, you didn't. They know what the words are, and if they don't, then they can go back and watch the the Attitude Era like Pat
Yeah.
McAfee wants them to. So there you go.
Exactly. There you go. Full
You either
circle. Full circle.
Yeah, full circle, guys.
Well,
Okay,
do you got
so
anything
two
else to add,
other
or you want to talk heels?
Yeah, no. I actually did have a couple of things.
Oh yeah, hit
One
on
of
it. Hit on
them
it.
one of them is for our most anticipated match that we're definitely 100% tuned in for at WrestleMania. Um that sweet great uh predicted matchup of the women's tag team fatal four-way that's going to be happening.
Yeah, we don't get either of the men's tag titles on there, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, we're gonna have this women's tag crazy super match for no reason. But whatever.
Which how many times do you have to run in on each other? Like, come on, guys. Like, this isn't
Yeah,
even every week, every show, not even every, it's like twice a week now. We get a singles or a tag team where the other ones are now just popping open or showing up and interrupting the match. It's like, dude, we don't care. Nothing you do from this point until Mania is gonna make us care about this match because you did nothing to make us care about this match before it. Like,
correct,
you
sir.
did this, just
Correct.
accept the fact that this is a snack break. Accept
Yep.
it and move
Oh
on.
yeah. Yep.
But this last week, SmackDown was in San Jose. Now, the GOAT herself
Yep.
hails from one San Jose.
Talk about it.
Why the fuck did she have to lose
Yeah.
in her hometown? What did that build? What did that
Garbage.
one do to the fans, friends and family and fans from San Jose to see their girl out there excited to come down see like that, the one of the people that made it out and made it big, and they're just so excited to have a hometown representation there, just to have her lose and in that fashion.
Yeah,
Like,
I did not like
what
that
the
at
hell
all.
was that?
Yeah, that was weak. And I guess the argument is that, oh, well, her winning would be super predictable. They do this shit all the time, man. Like, unless there's like a really good reason to have them lose, let them win. The crowd's gonna pop. The Bailey Army, such as ourselves, are gonna be happy.
Yep.
Throw us a bone, man. Like that wasn't a loss she needed to take. I just,
No.
the only thing I'll
It
say is as is typical with wrestling buildups, and I'm not even saying this is in a good or bad way. This is just historically how it tends to go. Not always, but it tends to go this way. Is if somebody takes an L or an ass whooping before the main match or PLE, they tend to be more likely to win it. So I'm hoping our girls might take these tag titles, and that'll be a little bit of a forgiveness factor in this loss.
Yeah, I would be down for that. But
Yeah, I'll
from
forgive it
looking at
if
what
that happens.
if that happens, I'll forgive it.
The
If
Bellas are
it
going to win that
doesn't,
match, though.
Bellas are going to win that match, and that sucks.
Yep,
Which
they're going to give
again,
them a
in
WrestleMania
what
moment
realm?
together.
In what
I
realm
know
does
it's going to
Nikki
happen.
and Brie beat Nia and Lash? Like, just on
None.
paper, looking at that, and you get the Hall of Fame shit out of here. I don't care. You make that argument to yourself in the shower while you try and justify it out there, people.
Yep.
I don't care. You tell me on paper in what realm, what fucking universe the Bellas beat Nia Jax and Lash Legend. You tell me. I
Yeah.
know it's a fatal four-way and everything's legal, and yeah, two other teams can beat the hell out of Nia and Lash and they can steal one. Sure, but you tell me in what realm what universe that makes sense. Like, please do, because I can't
Yeah.
find it. I've been searching multiverses and I can't find that sumbitch.
Yeah. Yeah. That we are going to have to do probably at least a quicker go home show where we lay down our official predictions for this. But
It's gonna be us
spoiler alert,
screaming.
I am going to predict the Bellas win this match. I could just see it happening, and I'm going to be
Yeah,
annoyed by it. But that is who I think that
no,
they're
I'm
going to
with
give
you.
them their moment. I'm against it. I could see it happening. I could totally see it happening because they don't care about these titles anyway, and they want to make the Bellas coming back worth it somehow. And I don't know how else you can do it if you don't give them the titles here. Like, because there's just nothing
Yeah.
for the Bella Twins anymore. Like, you kind of have
No.
to give them the titles, I think. I hate it. But like I said, I'll save that for our go home show.
Yeah. This isn't a AJ Lee deserves the IC title because she was better than the Divas title was, like,
Yeah.
situation. That is not this. The Bellas were never at the level that the women's tag team titles are at. They just weren't. And they didn't have them back then because the interest wasn't there. And for good reason, because they were there during the Divas era when women's wrestling was not great. And granted, you had some women's wrestlers that were great and just didn't get a chance. But sorry, the Bella Twins were not them. It's not like they were women's wrestlers during the Divas era. They were divas during the
Yeah.
Divas era. They
There's no point
legitimately
in their
were.
career where they were the best female competitors. There's never any point in their
No,
career.
no. So this isn't well, the Bellas deserve it because they're Hall of Fame. No, they're Hall of Famers because they were out in front during the Divas era. And
They,
that's the Divas
yeah,
era is how they got their Hall of Fame. They have
they had
earned
a
their Hall of
long,
Fame spot. They are not, okay, now I'm going to take that Hall of Fame spot and work it into cashing it in for modern gold so we can make ourselves look better and say, see, look, we were telling the truth. No, that's not how this works. They were divas. They did what they did during the Divas era, and they got in the Hall of Fame for it. The
you'll
end.
never
Full stop.
convince me. You'll never convince me that they're not in the Hall of Fame because they had a long tenure as hot chicks in a hot chick era. That's it.
Yeah. Sorry. Like you can try and put in the work. I can't do what you do, sure. Yeah, but also I didn't try and dedicate my life to being a professional wrestler. Um, I'm a 41-year-old, at Navy vet who is broken. Like there's zero chance that I'm going to be a professional wrestler, especially right
Yeah,
now. But if I had started when I was younger and moving up, pretty sure I would have tried a lot harder and done a lot better. Or at
yeah, I
least
agree.
tried to,
I
like
agree with that.
they just weren't good. And coming back now, they're just not good.
No,
I'm sorry. And if like
no,
by whatever chance they get to hear this or whatever, like, sorry guys, like I'm not trying to insult you as, personally or whatever, but your particular skill set was not the level that is being fed to the audience. It just wasn't. You know that. You can look back on your matches and know that. Anyone else can go back and watch your matches and know that. Like you can't tell me that putting you guys up against a match of the golden role models is that those two things are going to be equal. You just
yeah.
can't.
If I never see them on a wrestling program again, that would be fine. Hey, call me, but I don't need to see you on wrestling ever again.
Facts.
Yep.
Yeah. So this Bailey losing and the way that she did lose, like with the whole um it being an opportunistic, like, schoolboy from
Yeah. Yeah.
Alexa, uh it made Alexa look weak because she couldn't win clean, right?
Yeah.
It makes Bailey look weak because she got pinned by someone literally like half her size,
Yep.
and got distracted and had that be the thing. And I'm like, you literally just took two of the leading competitors for this tag team match. You took half of the tag match at WrestleMania and you made them look weak. And you killed momentum from Lyra and Bailey in the process. Like, why? What was the point? I don't
I don't I
understand.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
In a match that we're already struggling to care anything about, you made
Yeah.
us care less.
Yep. Yep. I don't even have anything to add to that. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I couldn't care less about anything that's going on with any of the people in that match right now. And that feud is not doing any of them favors.
So all right, so since we have nothing to add to that, I'll jump on to my next point. Why do our wh- same argument I've had before about people in their debuts. Did we need to give Royce Keys a glorified squash match for his debut?
Yeah, he's basically gonna it's like they're gonna have to try to take him the same route as Obafemi. Like this is why I think Royce Keys should have started in NXT because you already have a Royce Keys and Obafemi, a big
Yeah.
powerhouse guy, no pun intended, that that's gonna come in and just wreck shop. I I don't know what you do with Royce Keys on the main roster right now. Yeah,
No.
I think he would have been much better fitted in NXT.
I agree. And if nothing else, I'm not saying he needs. I saw his match. He's solid. Like I liked
No, he
what I
is. He
saw
is.
in the ring,
Yeah, and
but
I liked
I
him. I
don't.
liked him. Whatever I watched in AEW too. It's just there's nothing for
Yeah,
him on the main roster right now, especially this close to Mania. Like he's not gonna
yeah,
be in. Like I just don't get it.
yeah. And that's like it was a weird choice to have him debut at Royal Rumble and then save his in-ring debut 3 months later.
Yeah, what are you
Like
gonna do? Throw him in
you
the
know,
Vision? Have him interfere with like in I
right?
don't even
Yeah,
think they
it's
have a match. Like I just don't
yeah. They
get it.
have nothing for him. It's just like, hey, now he's here now, and it's like, dude, just put him on NXT because if you're billing him to your audience, you're billing him to the WWE audience. We have not seen him. You've heard about him. You've built up packages and stuff to show his stuff in the indies and everything. So obviously he has been a wrestler, but I'd never seen him prior to this.
Mhm.
So why do I care about Royce Keys? Like,
Right.
put him in NXT, let him wreck shop down there for a bit, get me excited, and then I know who Royce Keys is. I want to see Royce Keys on the main roster. I'm excited when he gets there. Like I agree with you. I feel like NXT would have been the right call,
Yeah.
and having him come up with I'm gonna have a few squash matches against lower mid carders while you guys figure out a storyline for me is gonna it's too par for the course, like there's no guesswork in that. I know he's gonna win his next like 3 matches or something, hands down.
Yeah, against
And
against bums.
yeah, against bums, and he's gonna go in there and be, then he's gonna go on to some kind of storyline, in which case, cool, now we're gonna get to see you actually, exercise yourself rather than just going in and doing lightweight stuff. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this model. I made that perfectly clear in the past. I'll
Mhm.
make it perfectly clear again in the future. I feel like if you're going to make somebody debut and you're going to give us vignettes and make the hype around them debuting, that you should have them debut in something that makes sense,
Yeah.
not just throw them in there against whatever lower mid Carter is open and hasn't done anything for, the last 4 months
Right.
or
The
whatever,
concept doesn't make sense and the timing doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He debuted at the
Yeah.
Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. It was just bad a bad call all around. And I'm not saying anything against him. Like I said, the stuff he was doing in the ring was great. Like I was a fan. Like I'm
Yeah.
interested. I'm interested in this guy for sure. But it's it's gonna be the thing of like that interest is gonna wane because if you don't do something with that, I'm not going to care. He's just gonna show
Right.
up and beat people, which is the same one of the same reasons why we don't like why some people were getting turned off by Goldberg. He shows up, he beats him. It's like, okay, where's like we know that's gonna happen. There's
Right.
no question here. There's no curveballs thrown at me or anything like that. It's just straight heat down the middle, you know?
Yep. This is wrong place, wrong time. Like I said, should be
Yep.
NXT. Shouldn't be as we're right next to WrestleMania. So yeah, I agree with that too.
So I got two more things, two more questions.
Okay.
These ones were coming off of Raw specifically, because I know we didn't talk a whole lot about that yet, but I mean some of the stuff is just like we said earlier on. It's all intermingled now, right now. So
Mm.
we did hit on some of it. Um, Celebrity matches at WrestleMania. Do we fucking need these anymore?
Nope. And we do fucking hate them.
Yeah.
I
What
definitely don't need them.
you have the Vision, or at least the Vision's B team,
Yeah,
uh,
with I show speed. Yeah.
with I Show Speed in there, like as in going up against the who what's be LA Knight and what's being touted as the greatest tag team of all time in the other corner in a 6-man tag. First off, stupid. But
Yep.
okay, I don't think that this deserves WrestleMania, but whatever. You're the just the 6-man tag aspect of it is
At least
stupid
throw
to
the
me
titles on the
for
line for
Mania.
it, even though it's 6 man. Like, throw the titles. That'll make it more interesting. I get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
whoever
Then
wins, like,
iShow
there's
becomes a
celebrities
de
in the yeah.
facto. Yeah, it becomes a member of the Vision, and they they defended under the Freebird rule or whatever.
Mhm.
LA Knight becomes an honorary Oos. It's fine. We'll get him one of the. Then we get the T-shirts that come back out. So that from when Sammy was in the Bloodline for a bit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we'll get those honorary Oos shirts back, and it'll be great. But no, we don't get that. Instead, we have a lousy ass 6-man tag with fucking I Show Speed in the corner with the Vision's B team against the Usos and LA Knight. And I'm like,
It's horrible.
at best, the Vision loses, and we say, well, yeah, of course they lost, right? But what happens if they win? That's what I'm asking
Yeah,
you. Like,
yeah, yeah.
how bad does this look? Because LA Knight, how does he come back? He's already been on the losing end of the momentum train for a while,
Yeah, he's been pretty
right?
much buried. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, if he loses in a match with I Show Speed as his opponent, as at least as one of the opponents or whatever, how
Yeah.
does he bounce back from that? How do you take LA Knight seriously then after
You
that?
can't. You can't. They didn't let you do it. You wanted to, you tried, and they said
And
no.
then
You can't
yeah,
believe in this
and then
character.
that same token, by that same token, what happens to the Usos if they lose in this match? Because now you're talking about the greatest of all time was literally beat by somebody with little to no training at all.
Yeah.
You're talking you just got beat by somebody with a fucking YouTube channel. And not Logan Paul, who at least put in time and effort to train and does what Logan Paul does. But
Logan's kind of a
you
natural.
literally
He's
lost.
an outlier. Yeah.
Yeah, but you lost to. You are the greatest of all, like being touted as the greatest tag team of all time, which we know is bullshit because the New Day exists. Holla at you,
Yeah.
boys.
Holla at you,
Uh,
boys.
uh, but you're now like WWE's recognizing you as the greatest of all time, and you lost to a YouTube streamer. Like, what does
Yeah.
that do to you? Like, just do you hang up your boots at that point? Like, that's terrible. That is
That's pretty
absolutely
tough.
terrible.
That's pretty tough.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, if yeah, it's like why he's not a legitimate threat. He's not even looking like he's a legitimate threat. He's not flexing on people. He's not like, yeah, I'm so
No.
awesome or anything. He's acting like a scared little bitch.
Yeah. Everything he does screams, I don't even want to be in the ring. I don't want to
Right?
compete like that.
And
I'm just trying to, like, I'm here because you guys invited me. Like,
yeah,
it's a weird storyline for sure.
and I get it's like, okay, so you to me, what it feels like is that creative was trying to fill out a card that
Hmm.
has zero interest or little to no interest in.
Yep.
Um, trying to fill it out and saying, hey, you know what's an easy way to get some viewers? Let's get one of the world's top streamers into a match, and then his streamer or his subscribers will want to come and watch that match. That's an easy way to get some viewership, right? And I'm like, that's the wrong way to build to build WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the wrong way to fucking do it, man. Like,
Yeah. I agree.
if you're hurting for viewership or potential viewership, reflect in the mirror and do better because
I
you're
agree.
creative in the world's leading wrestling promotion, and you're telling me that in your biggest, like the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, that you couldn't drum up interest in it. You failed as creative. That's not anyone else's fault. That's your fault. And trying to cover that up by getting a streamer in the ring is a pretty shitty way, and quite frankly, a slap in the face to all the rest of the fans. Like
Yeah.
that's how I see it. Um, But yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
it's one of those thrown together BS matches, like you said, and you know, throw this on Backlash if you need to, but I don't need this for
yeah.
Mania at all.
No, it would make sense on Backlash. I wouldn't even be mad at it. I wouldn't like it,
No,
but I wouldn't be mad at it. It would make sense.
right? Yeah,
Like
but
that's where you
yeah,
expect this kind of shit. You don't
I
expect
agree.
this at Mania.
I agree. I totally agree.
Um,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so that's all I had to say about that. Is like this is the celebrity matches are fucking stupid, and it's right up there with Snooki,
Oh my gosh.
in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
Right,
yeah. Oh
this is right up
gosh,
there with
yeah.
Snooki.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. Don't
yeah,
flash
that
me back to
happened.
that.
That's part of our history. Like that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. There's some
Um,
dark blotches.
there are. Okay, so moving on to a higher spot, the IC title ladder match. I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be cool. I think there's going to be some great spots in it, and I think it's going to be overall entertaining. I legitimately don't know who's going to win. I think it's going to be Penta, but I'm not totally sure, which I also love. My question for you is adding Rey Mysterio to that ladder match a benefit or detractor,
I think it's the
in your opinion?
distractor. I acknowledge Ray as a legend. I think he deserves his place in the Hall of Fame. My goodness, do I not need Ray in this match? If you're gonna add any Ray to this match, add Ray Phoenix. Okay, what's he been doing?
There we
Like,
go.
give me a
Yeah,
break. Like, I don't need Ray Mysterio doing anything anymore. I mean, if you want to pop him in every now and then to, you know, do another unnecessary thing with Dom, fine, whatever. I can accept it. To have him come in a match when we haven't seen him in a long time, no, like it's just more mumbo jumbo to something that hasn't been built properly either. I'm glad the IC title's on Mania, but I would have rather just a one-on-one, well-built story. I don't need Ray being like, "Oh, let's throw an extra masked guy in," because we don't have enough of that right now. Like, give me a break. No, I'm good on that. Like, whatever. Like, this is almost like borderline celebrity, like adding celebrities to stuff. You're gonna bring back a legend who doesn't need to be there anymore, who nobody was calling for, and have him be thrown on the card. Give me a break. I don't need this at all.
I agree in that aspect. I do see where it would be like what kind of the purpose would be is like, hey, we've now added Rey Mysterio to the card. Like he's there. He's gonna be on the thing. You should watch, right? He's gonna bring in eyeballs because people love Rey. I love Rey. But with that, I I had to I asked myself the question was like, are the eyeballs that he's going to add going to be worth the time that needs to be taken from everyone else in that match? Because it's a finite amount of time, right? Which means a finite amount of spots that can happen and also a finite amount of spotlight that each person gets. With, I mean, it was already what, 5 or 6 people in the match before Ray got added. So I mean, that's a lot of moving parts. And, they're not going to get an hour to display all of their stuff. They're going to get their standard like 20 minutes or something. And that's already going to be split between, the 5 people or something. So you have to put in everybody else's spots. You have to make sure that your stuff is there so everybody gets their time in the spotlight or whatever. And now you add Ray to the mix, which means Javon's getting less time. Rusev's going to get less time. Penta's getting less. Everybody gets less time because you have to add time in for Ray, right? And it has to come from somewhere. So is it like it was just is it worth it? Is it he's going to add viewers, but are those viewers worth the time that you could have used to showcase the other younger talent that's in there? Cuz it's not like Ray needs this, right? Like he's already a Hall of Famer. What does he get from this? So that was just that were my thoughts on it. I agree with you. I don't think that Ray needed to be in this. I don't think that the eyeballs are worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze, I guess.
Yeah, he hasn't been there in a while. He's an old man with a bad back. What are we doing here? Like, you're gonna throw him in this ladder match? Like, just
In a
seems
ladder
stupid.
match. Yeah. in a
Yeah.
ladder match. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't get it at all. It doesn't add to his clout whatsoever. It's not going to add to this match's clout whatsoever. Yeah, it just seems highly unnecessary to me. Um, yeah, no, I just don't get it. Like I said, it's just another thing like you're throwing against the wall and hoping it sells a ticket, which, like I like Ray. I wouldn't say I was ever like a big mark for Ray. He's not moving my interest in this event at all though. And he's another one. And again, I respect Ray, but I don't need to see him on WWE TV ever again either. He's had his time. I've watched him since WCW. I'm good. I'm good. I got my Ray fill.
yeah.
Let's move on.
Let him be an ambassador.
Yep.
He can still do great things for the company, to show up, to be in the crowd, to be an ambassador for the company itself, to be promotions or a trainer at the performance center. Like, there's a
Sure.
ton of ways that he can give back to the company
Yep.
without having to be on TV.
I agree. There's work.
So,
There's work for him somewhere. This does not need to
yeah.
be the work he does.
I guess my last question is kind of like a weird abstract that I've just kind of been seeing and realize that this happens when he comes back. Brock Lesnar. Does
Oh,
Brock, do you feel like Brock gets carried away when he's attacking security?
dude.
Like,
I will say, like, he
'cause,
makes it
like
look ruthless. He does make it look ruthless.
when he's attacking like the masked men or security or
Yep.
whatever, not like, Oba or whatever, but just, the general throw around security guys and stuff. I don't know if it's him just getting an adrenaline dump or what, but some of those throws are actually pretty sloppy. And those guys are not landing flat and stuff like that. And I'm like, I know you can do better, Brock. I'm
It
just
looked
wondering if
like
he's
one of
getting
them
like an
landed on his
adrenaline dump.
head. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the one he like threw over the stairs, just
Yeah.
straight like brained himself. And I'm like, dude. And like, it's not safe, sure. And I know that they're, kind of signing up for that too. If they jump too much, Brock's a strong dude, so he's going to throw. And if you're jumping
Yeah.
too much, you're going to over rotate and all that comes into it too. I fully understand that. I'm just like, sometimes
It
it
looks
looks a bit
nasty.
careless and
Yeah.
unsafe. And it's like not necessarily looking nasty for the sake of looking nasty, but it's safe. It actually looks kind of like careless. And it's just, I'm wondering, I was like, oh, well, he's not there every time. So I'm wondering when he does show up, does he just get like a massive adrenaline dump and literally just can't control himself a little bit?
No, so
I was just
I'm
wondering if it was
actually
just me seeing
no,
this.
no, no, no. I actually I thought about this when I was watching it too. So I actually do have a response for this. Like I didn't even have it in my notes, but I was thinking about it. Um, I I think you could make a good case that Brock just hasn't been around and he's sloppy, but I think it might be as likely that like all these guys who are, the masked men, the security guards, those are all like indie wrestlers, right? So like, and
They're
a
all
lot of them
local
are probably,
talent.
yeah, they're all, and probably most of them are pretty green too. I think that it could
Yeah.
be two things. One, they don't know how to take it because they've almost certainly never taken one before, or two, this is their moment, so they kind of want to make it look nastier than it is.
That's
Like the
fair. Like
yeah,
going like the
yeah.
Dolph Ziggler route.
Yeah. It could be either it could be any of those things. So I'm not sure if it's Brock or if it's them, but yeah, it did look pretty rough, like for sure.
Yeah. All right. So it's not just me looking at seeing it and everything. And again, I'm not blaming Brock. Dude is huge. Like, Brock Lesnar is a giant man and he is strong as hell. So
Yes, he
him
is.
throwing people, and he's literally, he was training at, NCAA, champion, fucking UFC champion, WWE champion. The dude is like practiced his entire life with picking people up and throwing them, So he knows how to throw people. He's a strong dude, and you give a little too much, you're not going to land great. I super get that. But also, it's like, hey, if their adrenaline's up, they're giving a little too much. His adrenaline's up, he's giving a little too much, whatever. It just it looks a lot more brutal, and I think it kind of makes him look sloppy. Um, but
Yeah, it
also
does.
I don't know if it's totally him. honestly, like you said, like you mentioned, I don't know how much of that is just him or if it's just happenstance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It's they do look nasty though, and it yeah, I mean I see what you're saying because it does look like he's just throwing these guys.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm not sure how much
Oba
control you
tossed that
even
guy
have.
into the barricade. It's like
Yeah.
that shit was crazy. Like I was like, oh, Brock dropped somebody on his head. Then Oba picks this dude up and just literally yeets him into the steel barricade. I was like, there's no way you that hurts. That's gonna hurt. You can practice to fall that, but that's just gonna hurt when you got chucked 6 feet out of the air and 4 feet forward into a steel barricade. Like that's rough.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I'm just like,
Um,
yeah,
no, those are two big dudes, man. Those are two big
I'm
dudes.
looking
I
forward to it.
I am excited
It's
about that
Godzilla
match.
versus King
Yeah.
Kong, man. This will be
Yeah.
good.
I am excited about that one. That'll be a fun watch.
All right. I think we have kept everyone long enough, but before we go, we did say last episode that we were going to do our top 5 heels of all time.
I
Are
also
you
would like to do
prepared?
our power. I'm prepared. Do you have power fives as well? We could just shoot through them,
I
but
I didn't. I don't have a
okay.
power 5.
Okay, so
I was focused on the heels.
if you don't mind, let me just shoot through them. I don't have to explain because I think we've already talked ad nauseum about a lot of these, but I did update my list. It's not super different than the last time, but it is a little different. If you don't mind, let me shoot
Okay.
through those and then we'll go to our top five heels.
Hit me,
All
man.
right. All right. So for the females, I'm going to go honorable mention Io just because she's been around. And, like I said, I think her and Rhea are corny, but I'll just give her a shout like she's doing something. Five, I'm going to go Jade. I don't really love what
She's
she's
one of the
doing.
bright spots, honestly. Like
Yeah,
Io and Rhea, as corny as it is, it's one of the few bright spots in the women's division right now.
I agree. And there's not a lot, which is why I have
Yeah,
Jade at five because Jade hasn't been doing anything that's been like
I'm surprised she even
really
showed up
awesome.
on the list, man.
I'm only doing it because like she's got the new faction. I'm intrigued about a little bit. Like the match has some intrigue, not a lot, but she's a champion. I'll put her at five. Four Rhea, three Stephanie, two our girl Becky, and one Liv. For the
Okay.
guys, I got honorable mentions with Drew and Seth. Five, I got Brock. Four, I got Cody. Three, I got Randy. Two, I got Punk. One, I got Roman. So, I mean, a bulk of that is world title focused. But that's it. I put a little bit of thought into it, so I figured I'd just throw it out there. But now let's get into our top five heels. Would you like to kick us off?
Sure, yeah, I'll kick us off. And this is men and women mixed together, obviously, because we all
Yes.
know my number one.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so honorable mention, I will say this is the hardest list I've ever put together.
I agree.
Like the
This was a
factions and
tough
stuff we
one.
did before, this was the hardest list that I've ever had to put together because I had to look I looked at kind of their entire body of work, not just when they were a heel, but also when they were a heel and what that like what their heel turn meant and everything. So like
Yeah.
the overarching like what their heel time meant, I
Yep.
guess.
And just to refresh people, if you didn't catch last episode, we're doing this under the WWE umbrella. So this could include
Yes.
NXT. This could include WCW. If it's under the
Yeah.
WWE's umbrella, it counts.
Yes. So ECW, damn it, I didn't think
Yep.
of
Yep.
ECW. Shoot. Oh well, doesn't matter. I already made my list. So honorable mention, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Um, he didn't make it in the top because he got booted out by he was actually in like middle of the ground, but then I had
Mhm.
to add in someone else and he got bumped. That's
No,
how stacked this list was for me.
just to
Um,
throw something out there, because he didn't make my top five either, but I will say HBK was the first heel who I really liked. The very first heel that I liked was HBK. But take it away.
yeah. So I mean, we have this this saying between us, right?
Mhm.
Don't Marty Jannetty me.
Yeah, yeah.
literally comes from Shawn Michaels. Like that's like,
Yes.
don't do that to me as a tag partner. Don't Marty Jannetty me. Don't put
Yep.
me through that. Don't super kick me through the barbershop window kind of thing. And I think that
Yeah,
was that was the basis of it, right? Like that started it all. But
absolutely.
then you had the HBK going in against like Bret Hart, going up against Stone Cold, going up against the Undertaker. Like it was everything the man does is amazing. And he
I
only
agree.
made my honorable mention. So
Yeah.
uh
No, I hear you.
number five is Hulk Hogan. Um
Okay.
the heel, yeah, so and this is where it gets weird. So the heel turn was arguably one of the biggest, right? From from Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hogan was crazy.
In my
But
opinion, it is the biggest. Yeah.
when you look at his body of work as a heel, you can't it was stale. Like he had the turn and then he was an asshole, sure, but it was your standard kind of 80s comic book heel asshole. Like, it was just the literal flip side of what his red and yellow was. It was just like, cool, now I'm black and white and an asshole. So I don't know, it didn't hit well. You wanted to see him lose, but it was just kind of like you hated him because he was Hulk Hogan and now he's not kind of thing. It didn't really do anything after the heel turn to keep growing that heel character, in my opinion. So
Okay.
he got locked in. It was biggest heel turn of all time. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
nothing much after that. So it's like he was the big earthquake, but there were no aftershocks that did more damage or anything like that afterwards. So he gets the number five spot. Number four, The Miz.
Ooh, I like it.
I've never, almost never had somebody who you just love to hate more than Miz. And it sucks
He's
because
a he's a natural heel.
he's a natural heel and he's such a nice guy. Like,
I believe he is. I believe
yeah,
he does seem to be.
he seems to be such a nice guy. And the fact of like he comes on and it's just like he turns it on
Yeah.
has been fantastic. And he's been a heel for most of his career. So you can look
I
at
would
the
say
Miz's.
90, at least 90% of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's he's been able to not only maintain that, but like reinvent it in different ways and be different shades of heel throughout that. He's been cowardice, he's been
Yeah.
cheaty, he's been freaking like, just talking trash and going in to back it up. Like he's been all of them. And
Yeah.
it's just he's fantastic to watch. I'm
He's
never
awesome.
sad or upset when Miz is on screen. So
I
he
agree.
gets my
I
number
agree.
four spot. Um Number three is Triple H.
Okay.
Uh Again, he spent a good amount of his career as a heel,
Mm-hmm.
especially once he started like getting in, like once he did the DX stuff, and then especially once he took over DX after Shawn Michaels got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you really saw him come out on his own, and that just spun off into Triple H, going away from
Yeah.
Hunter and into Triple H and the game and the cerebral assassin. And it's like, damn, you loved to hate Triple H. Again, going
Oh
back to the
yeah.
Attitude Era, guys, if it was during this time, you loved to hate this guy because it
Yep.
was amazing. Like it heel work wise, perfect is almost perfect. So
Yeah.
he got my number three spot. Number two, The Rock. Sorry, I needed a
Okay.
little bit of lead up there.
That's all right.
Again, someone who spent the majority of his career as a heel, regardless of getting over with the fans. Um, was a heel, fans still cheered him. Was a face, fans still cheered him. Didn't matter. You couldn't put Rocky in a box. You just couldn't. But the work that he did, especially on the mic, obviously, but on the mic, in the ring, uh, and then just against all of the people, Stone Cold, Mankind, Triple H, Undertaker, uh, Kane, the corporation, like everything The Rock did was great, especially when he was doing it as a heel. You never wanted to see somebody get smacked in the face so much as when The Rock was on there talking shit. And yeah, it was some of the most entertaining TV. It really was. It was like he was one of the people that when I was watching wrestling really made me, it was like, dude, I hope somebody punches you in the fucking face. Just every
Yeah.
time I saw him and he was open his stupid mouth, I just wanted somebody to punch him in the face. So I was like, yeah, that achieved, right? Like heel mode achieved. That's what they
Yeah.
wanted, and that's what they got. They got me.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
um, as previously stated, my number
Hmm.
one of all time, the billionaire princess herself, Stephanie McMahon. Uh,
Okay.
I've never, especially for somebody who didn't really have that much of an in-ring career, uh, never had somebody come in and be able to pull at your heartstrings and make you hate them as much as Stephanie McMahon. Her delivery, her content of what she's doing, like her body language,
Yeah.
everything was absolutely flawless in the way of it was designed, how it was designed to elicit a reaction. It was absolutely flawless. There was never a time when you didn't cheer for her demise, when you didn't hope that she got what was coming to her, when you just wanted to boo the shit out of her when she was talking. Like there were people who were more annoying, but I don't think there was anybody that ever did it better than Stephanie.
I agree.
So, and
As
I've been
far
saying this
as
like
at
for
that,
nigh
she
a
was an easy
decade.
person to hate. Such an easy person to hate.
She was such an easy person. It wasn't just because of
Yep.
the last name or the fact of her dad was or anything like that either.
Yeah.
She did it. She came to it naturally. Like
Yeah.
it was her doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been saying for over 10 years at this point now that Stephanie McMahon deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And that was literally just based off of her heel work. That wasn't the entire body of work. That was just Stephanie McMahon as a heel deserves to be in the Hall of Fame just for that. That's how good she was.
Yeah.
So
Former women's champion
she,
too.
yep. Women's champion, never diva champion.
Nope. Nope. Yeah.
So
So I mean,
that's my top five.
not and honestly, good top five. So I did something here though, and this was a
Oh,
little bit dickish on my part because we talked this episode about yucking some yums. So I did my top five, but then I also ranked because I wanted to see where I would rank Stephanie. So I ranked all my honorable mentions until I hit Stephanie. So I'm gonna save my honorable mentions for after my top five.
oh,
Um, yeah. So like I don't get me wrong, Stephanie is a great heel, and she is a top heel. Like it's not like she's super low on my list, but I do have a handful of people before I was able to get to Stephanie. And like I said, I won't go too in depth with them, but I just want to see how you feel about like some of these heels. Anyway, I'm going to start with my top five, then I'll hit the honorable mentions. So number five, I got Edge. Um, Edge in his prime, like when he was the opportunist character. I thought he was phenomenal. That to me, like that's the only version of Edge I liked was heel Edge, and I just thought he did a
like rated R
really
superstar style.
yeah, like banging Lita in the middle of the ring, making a
Mhm.
story out of stealing Matt Hardy's girl. Like it was like
Which was fantastic. That was
it
a
was it
great
was
storyline in how messed up that storyline was.
it was so
And the
messed
fact
up
that it
and it
was real.
worked. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it was
Oh,
very well done. So yeah, like I said, I know Edge is a legend, deservedly so. I think he's had a great career, but the only time I was ever super into him was when he was just ultra heel, and he was for probably a few years, but he just did a great job. Number four, I'm going Ric Flair. I mean, what more do you got to say? It's Ric Flair. Like he is the almost. I'm not saying he was the first heel, but he's like the OG, like super heel.
he's the prototype for that
Yeah,
style of heel. He
yes,
is the
yes,
prototype.
yep.
Yeah.
Just dirty, talking shit every breath he takes. Cowardly when he has to be. He just did everything right as a heel. Number three, Vince McMahon. Vince,
Ooh.
like, just in the Attitude Era, which we've touched on a few times this episode. Like, my goodness, like that was just such a great time for Vince as a heel. He did so many good things, whether it's his feud with Austin, the corporation. He just did such a good job of being an on-screen heel. And now, of course, the more we learn about him is he was also an off-screen heel, but I'm just strictly talking on-screen. Amazing heel. Uh, Number two, I'm going Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Um, I understand your arguments against it, but to me, Hogan, we agree that it's the biggest heel turn of all time, and I understand your grapes with how stale things kind of got with WCW, which ultimately killed WCW. The NWO was too big; it monopolized a lot of the stories. Um, but I
Creative
mean,
control ruined shit in the
yeah,
background and stuff.
yep. But I mean, they also beat out WWF for a long, long time because
Hmm.
Hogan as a heel was such a powerhouse. Like he built he built the success of WWF WWE on being like the greatest face of all time, and he built WCW and secondhand WWF WWE um, with the Monday Night Wars because of his heel work. So I would be remiss not to put Hogan two on that. And then number one, I have Triple H. I thought he was such a great heel. He's another one who was probably heel about 90% of his career, and it just worked really well. You did hate Triple H. Like we talked a lot about heels who we enjoyed, but you actually felt genuine heat for Triple H, and it wasn't go home heat. It was real heat. He just knew how to do it, and he knew how to do a good job of doing it. He had the look, he had the physique, he had the titles. Um, to me, Triple H is the greatest heel of all time. Um,
Triple H,
mm,
if I might interject here, Triple
mm,
H is the blueprint of what, in my opinion, was the blueprint of what they were trying to do with Roman Reigns during his run,
yeah,
with making
yep.
his like you have this big guy who's jacked looking, who's a powerhouse and can stand on
Mm,
his own and is just fuck you, I'm taking your title and there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah.
Where all of that failed with Roman, as far as interference and bloodline and all of the other BS that I've mentioned as to why I didn't like it, that stuff didn't necessarily happen with Triple H. He went in, it did happen occasionally, right? Like you did have run-ins with DX and his other, corporation and stuff like that. But I would say the majority of the time, Triple H just made you hate him, but then he went in and backed it up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I've just never personally seen a greater heel in my life. All right, now this is where I get a little shitty, and I hope you take it with a grain of salt. This is just me more having fun. We don't
Hey
have a
man,
lot of
list
disagreements,
is
so
list. Opinions are
yep,
opinions, and you're good.
yep. We don't have a lot of disagreements, but Stephanie is one of our disagreements as far as where she ranks. But like I said, she's not like incredibly low. This isn't going to be like an hour-long list where I'm just naming every heel I could think of. But I genuinely put all these guys ahead of her as a heel. So, so just missing my list, Orton. He's my number one honorable mention, and we've hit it on the head the last few episodes. Orton is such a great heel. The problem with Orton is that he spent probably 90% of his career as a face, which is a bit of a shame because there were stretches of Orton's career where he was just incredibly boring to me as a face. And I'm not saying he always was as a face, but a lot of time spent where he probably should have been a heel because he's a phenomenal heel. He misses my list not because he's not a great heel, but because he wasn't a heel enough, in my opinion. Um, then I go Roman. After that, I got JBL. Um, I don't think JBL gets enough credit. His work after he left the APA, I thought was really good. He had a
Yeah.
really long title reign. He had a faction. Like he knew how to hit all the buttons to make you annoyed and irked, and you genuinely didn't like him. Kind of like Triple H. Like it wasn't like you're an enjoyable heel to me. I like you even though I know you're a bad guy. You didn't like Triple H and you didn't like JBL, and it's because they did such a good job of being a real good heel. Then HBK, like I said, he was the first heel that I ever liked as a wrestler. Mr. Perfect, Kane.
Ooh.
Uh, like I still remember when Kane debuted. To me, like it's hard to figure out exactly where you want to put it. You know, you talk to me a different day, I'll put it 1 through 3. But Kane's debut too was so good. He was like this Jason character, like Jasonish character at the beginning that was scary. Like it was a scary character.
Yeah.
After
And I
Kane, I
mean, the
got
fact is, like, he had Undertaker like
yeah,
is like backed up against the ropes and like
mhm,
looking scared. And you're like,
yeah,
you see Undertaker, and this is the guy that makes Undertaker scared. Like,
yeah,
you pay attention. Like, that's what
yep.
Kane did.
Yeah, and then he tortures Paul Bearer, like who's his dad.
Hmm.
Just a ton of stuff. Like he just did so well, I thought. After that, I got and honestly, I probably could put him ahead of Kane, but Paul Heyman, I just excellent heel. I would probably have to bump him up above Kane, but it doesn't matter because these are just my honorable mentions. But Paul Heyman, incredible heel, obvious reasons. If you watch the product at all, you know Paul Heyman and you know he's just a great heel. Then I have The Undertaker. I understand a good chunk of his career he was a face, but man, he was the first heel that I was just like afraid of. Like he was the first heel that like got me not liking heels. Like he like contrary to HBK, like Undertaker was it in like the early 90s. And then I got Stephanie. So she's not super far down on the list. I just had to point out like in my opinion, and again, this is wrestling. It's like any form of art, it's subjective. I think Stephanie is absolutely a great heel, but that's where I put her, which I believe is 14 overall. But I mean, like 14 of the probably 1,000 heels that we've seen come and go, like still pretty damn
Yeah.
good.
No, absolutely. And I'm not offended at that list at all. Like I mentioned, I let off with that, right? Like this was the hardest list that I've ever had to come up with. And
Yeah,
for that same reason of it's just trying to limit because I only had 5 spaces. Like
it was a tough list. It
there's
was absolutely a
yeah,
tough
it
list.
there's so much out there. And like obviously the history of the business versus the history of the business that I've been privy to in my lifetime versus how do you pick from that, and
Yeah.
everything. It's just like there has been some fantastic heels that popped up. And also I didn't like I if it probably would have been like 5 out of 5 from the Attitude Era because that was, in my opinion, the best time of wrestling. But like I wanted to try and keep it opened up and stuff like that. Not saying that you didn't, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, because you did. You had a very varied list. I liked it. Um, it was just my thought process. I'm like, okay, well, if I just keep going on the Attitude Era, it's going to be easy. But then, how many times, can you throw in that shit? And it
No,
still
I
ended up
for sure.
being all of them with the Attitude Era, with the exception of the Miz. So I still failed at that.
Well, but
Um,
a lot of their good heel work, was also outside of the Attitude Era too. Like
yeah,
you had Hogan, who he was during that era, but for a different company. Triple H, who yeah, absolutely started his great heel work in the Attitude Era, but it carried you know throughout the Ruthless Aggression era too. Like
yeah. And that was
you
some of
can't.
his best heel work was
That's
during
what
the
I'm saying.
Ruthless
Like I
Aggression era.
I'm not sure I could even say it's any worse. You could make an argument that it was better for sure. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like I wouldn't even asterisk that because they're great heels because they could do it in different eras too. Like that's what makes it special.
That's fair. That's fair. I
Yeah,
didn't I didn't I didn't take that into consideration, but I appreciate that
I
outlook on
gotcha. I gotcha.
it. Um, but yeah, yeah. No, I like your list, man. That is solid
No,
and
I
it
like
is,
yours
like I
too.
said, it's varied and that damn some callbacks in there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
now I just want to go back and watch old wrestling. I
I
want to watch Mr. Perfect. Like I want to go back and watch some Mr. Perfect matches.
man, he
Um,
was perfect, man. He was great to
it was,
watch.
dude. Yeah. Oh, dude. It's like fisherman suplexes, dude.
Oh,
Just
dude, the fisherman suplex, like I'm surprised nobody else really does it. Like that was such a cool finisher. Like you see, like
Yeah,
I think Curtis Axel did it a little bit, but like he never really picked up. But like that's just such a great finisher. He did it.
it really is.
You didn't really watch WCW, but he did it to the Big Show in WCW. Like it was
I
nuts.
believe it. I
Yeah,
believe it. I'll go back and watch. I'll go see like if I can find a video of it. But like
I'm sure it's out there. Yeah,
legitimately, like one of the best wrestlers to ever live, man. Like he
absolutely.
was just perfect. He was just perfect. Like everything in his matches was great. So
Yeah, he's definitely one of the greatest wrestlers to never hold like the world title. He did in
yeah,
AWA, but I don't know if you'd even count that. He never did in WCW or WWE, and that's a damn shame.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. Well, that this for our see, this is why we can't go like 2 weeks of
Yeah,
because we end up with episodes that are like over 2 hours long.
yeah.
Um,
But I will say this, like I do want to do a go home episode where we just make our predictions, but I do like it's going to be a really busy weekend, so like
yeah,
it'll be a shorter episode. We're just going to lay out our predictions. Maybe we'll give a little reasoning to it, but it'll be a quicker episode. For
yeah.
real this time.
Let's do that. Okay, so I don't know if you have 2K26 or not.
I don't.
Okay, I do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm also going to let the computer decide, and
Ooh.
I'm going to make a night one, night two WrestleMania card and have it sim through and just literally let the matches computer versus computer play out and have the computer also guess who's like predict who's going to win those matches.
I love
So
it. I love it.
we're going to have predictions from John, we're going to have predictions from Michael, and we're going to have predictions from Michael's PS5 is what we're going to have on the next episode. Um but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad that Mania is finally here, if nothing else, than for the fact that Mania will finally be over and we can move on from
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Because
Correct.
yeah, it's the buildup has not been great, guys. And if you need any evidence of that, go back and listen to our shows for the last 3 months
Yep.
because that's
Yep.
what you'll
We
get.
lay it out pretty thick. We lay it out pretty thick.
Yeah. You know, if the we're trying to put it out there, so that if you're in the know on the on what's going on, you might be able to pick up on it. That's all,
Yeah. Yeah.
subtly hinting at it throughout for the last couple of months.
Yep. Yep. We'll see. We'll see how she goes.
Indeed. All right. Well, everyone, for both of us, I would say all of us, but it's literally just the two of us
Mm.
here at Make Us Believe. I'm Michael.
And I'm John.
Don't stop believing, guys.